people that bring it in, it's much more dangerous, it's much more risky, but that's what they're being forced to do. And the thing is, if you don't have a prescription after the 1st of October, there is a fine of up to $222,000 for bringing nicotine through customs.
Oh, hey, what's going on? I'm pretending like I'm the eagle tonight. What's up? Hey, it's Friday, and how the hell are you guys doing? I see. We should start the show out with a celebratory. Hey, bro, how the hell you're doing? And congratulations to Homicidal Maniac for his 4 years of being not a smoker and being a vapor. His vaporversary, 4-year vaporversary, is today. So, congratulations, Homicidal Maniac. Yeah. Let's make today thousands of other people's vaporversary. Let's just convert as many people as we can before all shit breaks loose and smokers are just going to keep dying. But anyway, how the hell is everybody else? I see Rob Ramdisk and Bruni and Tom Morowitz and Leanna and Bruni again and Victor and did I say Tom? I already said Tom. So how the hell is everyone? It is Friday night, and I appreciate everybody wasting their wonderful Friday night where they could be out on date night, or well, most of you guys are old anyway, so they're probably not dating. But anywho, Kevin, I think I upset Kevin this week. On Twitter, there was a conversation that was going on with our very good friend Chris Big Knowledge Garland, and he was saying nice things about Kevin and being that. Hey, Dale Short. I thought that said Dan Short for a minute. I know a guy named Dan Short, and Mark Sliss is here. Anyway, Big Knowledge Chris Garland said something here. I'm going to find it real quick because this is not my fault that Kevin is upset. This is it's not my fault. So Chris, Big Knowledge Garland. I'm going to keep calling him Big Knowledge Garland. But Chris Garland tweeted something, and I responded. Chris says, "What brings you joy and happiness?" And I said, "To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women." And he said, "Wow, that's interesting. Just based off your charismatic demeanor and charm when co-hosting Son of Liberty Radio, I never would have known that about you." And immediately I said, co-hosting. The show is called Son of Liberty Radio. And at Vaping It is just the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson, the Squiggy to my Lenny, or the Cameron to my Ferris. Co-host. Pff. And then he said, come on, Brody. At Vaping It is way more than that. That raspy, knowledgeable voice and persona is something that you just can't get from some dude off the street. He's live stream gold. Well, then Kevin decided to have fun with the I don't like you t-shirt. I don't even like you. Patrick, I don't even like you. Never did. I almost cried for a microsecond there. But anyway, I did say that I would add that to the t-shirt shop. But anyway, Kevin, I think Kevin is passive aggressively boycotting us tonight. He says that he has to spend time with his grandchild. His grandchild is more important than you guys and me. So Kevin is not here tonight. So I had to send out the call for assistance. I had to send out the call for help, and we got a substitute Kevin. So welcome the substitute Kevin, Paul. He's muted. He's already muted himself again.
Yeah, well, I have to do that sometimes.
He's kind of rough on the he hasn't practiced being online for a while. But he better get good, because I understand that he's going to participate in one of the CAFRA scope video sessions, or 2 or 3. I don't know. I know that he's going to be on one with me because I recruited him. But I thought he was going to be on one with somebody else too. So we're going to be doing that scope thing. One of the other things, boys and girls, is I'm going to be putting together for the first night of our broadcast, the first Sunday night of the it'll actually be Monday over there, but it's our Sunday night over here. We're going to be doing the what is harm reduction, or harm reduction for idiots show. We're going to talk about all sorts of aspects of harm reduction. We're going to try to put it down into 1 hour. And I have the A to Z of harm reduction tweet, the threaded tweet that is on my Twitter. But if you guys want to at me, or hashtag harm reduction me or something to get my attention, or hashtag some other ideas of what is harm reduction, that would be helpful, because I really want to include you guys as much as possible in this whole thing, because this is going to be not only, I mean, it's not going to be my normal audience, because this is going to be on the CAFRA YouTube and the CAFRA Facebook. So we want to get everybody involved. And we want to also, if you're not already on the CAFRA Facebook and the CAFRA YouTube, you should really go ahead and subscribe to those. I'm trying to get them to include Twitter, because I think that they're really missing out on the importance of Twitter on this thing, especially since we're tweeting at COP the whole time. It would be good if we could just tweet them the broadcast. We could clip it and tweet them clips and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that's one of the things that we're working on. But Paul, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to?
Yeah,
navigating through Australian government requirements for one of my clients, and it's an absolute nightmare.
So there's rules. There's rules in Australia.
Oh, yeah, apparently so, and now they're getting a little bit worse.
I mean, it is like a land of convicts. I mean, why would there need to be rules?
Well, I ask myself that sometimes. But
I mean, naturally, you would think that they would refrain from creating stupid rules that people are just gonna, because, like I said, your ancestry are a bunch of crooks and criminals. They know how to break the rules.
True, but we're now seeing
it's in their nature.
True, but we're now seeing doctors only wanting to prescribe pod type systems and things like that. Just stupid.
I remember you and me and what's that other guy, the Bogan guy? We did a show like a year ago, and we were talking about how stupid it is to put together some sort of regulatory scheme without any infrastructure at all. I seem to remember we discussed that.
Correct.
And the clusterfuck. Hey, hashtag clusterfuck. We haven't used that in a while.
No.
The hashtag clusterfuck is not just America. It's just that Australia has a different type of clusterfuck. Plus, if you get caught importing nicotine into Australia without a prescription, you're going to get a different kind of fucked.
Yep.
Like a $222,000 fucked.
Oh, that's for individuals, and then it goes up from there. If you're a business, it's $1 million, and if you get done on multiple occasions, it can go up to 10 million, depending on how they want to play it.
There's more people. Hello, Shannon, and hello, Mallory, and hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
So the folks are still streaming in, Kevin. You're not substitute Kevin. I forgot your substitute.
Chugger and Jennifer. Bruni.
What, didn't I say hello to Chugga already, or is Chugga also a late arrival?
Chugga just appeared.
And Will Webb and Jeffrey Zamora. Hello, fellas. So yeah, the shit just seems to be rolling downhill. But you know what's funny, substitute Kevin. You know what's funny is that Johns Hopkins which is like one of the most well-respected medical establishments in the. Oh, there's Hanaj, or H.
Yep.
And it's Shannon. Is it Shannon's birthday? Shannon's birthday. We have to sing "Happy Birthday." Happy birthday to Shannon. Happy birthday to Shannon. Happy birthday to Shannon. That's all I know. She's only like 25. But anyway, Johns Hopkins, the one of the most well-respected and knowledgeable and like sciencey medical organizations in the United States, they're probably well known all over the world. They actually released a statement this week, or results this week of testing on a vapor aerosol. And the headline says, this one's funny. I have to share it. Let me make sure it's rubbed good. Let me rub it. Rub. There is why do all these websites have like 15 million ads on them, Kevin?
Well, it's probably the only way they can make money these days.
So this is Mega Doctor News. Mega Doctor News. That sounds like a really professional organization, but they're publishing an article from another place. But it says here, Johns Hopkins University, Newswise, vaping aerosols contain thousands of unknown chemicals and substances not disclosed by manufacturers, including aerosol chemicals and caffeine. And this is Johns Hopkins University found. So Johns Hopkins University can't identify these thousands of unknown chemicals in aerosols. Now, come on, guys. I mean, I'm sure they've got a mass spectrometer somewhere in their research lab. I'm sure because they're talking about aerosols. They're talking about not the actual bottle, not what's in the liquid, but what happens to the liquid when it's, exposed to a heated coil and creates a chemical reaction. I mean, I hope that everybody that watches the show is smart enough to realize that heat causes chemical reactions to occur. And even in this bottle, what we call steeping is actually chemical reactions occurring inside of the bottle over time. So there are things that happen when you heat stuff up and it outgasses and it, does things. It splits and bounces off of other chemicals and stuff happens. So, of course, something's going to happen when we hit it with a heating coil and suck it into our body and then exhale it. But thousands of unknown chemicals? Really?
I'm not believing this.
To me, it would be an embarrassment if I was Bloomberg. Well, it is a Bloomberg School of Public Health, by the way. I just thank you, Jeffrey, for reminding me. Yes, this is Bloomberg School of Public Health at Johns Hopkins University. So they may not actually be smart enough to do a chemical analysis on the aerosols, the emissions that occur when vaping happens. I wouldn't admit it. Like if it was me, I would be like, oh, well, we found chemical reactions occur during vaporization, and these are the chemicals that happen.
Yeah,
but no, thousands of unidentified chemicals.
The really interesting one is in that first little paragraph, industrial chemicals and caffeine. Then it goes on to say that the study is the first to apply to vaping liquids and aerosols in advanced fingerprinting techniques used to identify chemicals in food and wastewater. Okay, I think they've been testing the wastewater over testing the actual liquids.
Well, see, here's the deal, though. If they're depending on which method they're using. So if they're using a high pressure volumetric testing, which is a fluid testing method for wastewater, then that's not aerosols, right? Am I wrong in that?
No, you're right.
And if you're using tests for food that are used to test food, that's usually solids.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you testing gas or aerosol using methods used for solids or liquids?
I agree. I'm just reading this. It's the first time I've read it, and I'm laughing.
So existing research that compared e-cigarettes with normal cigarettes found that cigarette contaminants are much lower in e-cigarettes. Yes, that's very true. The problem is that e-cigarette aerosols contain other completely uncharacterized chemicals that might have health risks that we don't yet know about, says senior author Karstine Prasse, Prasse, an assistant professor of environmental health and engineering at Johns Hopkins. More and more young people are using these e-cigarettes, and they need to know what they're being exposed to. I actually have no problem with people knowing what they're inhaling into their bodies. But I also want to make sure that you're doing reasonable testing, that you're testing these things based on usage parameters and not some imaginary made up stuff, and not using some sort of weird esoteric testing method that's not used for aerosols, but used for solids or liquids. Previous studies of e-cigarettes have looked specifically for evidence of the hazardous chemicals found in traditional cigarettes. But more researchers performed a non-targeted analysis to explore the full range of chemicals, both in the vaping liquid and the aerosols. So at least this time they used the word vaping liquid right here instead of up here where they specifically talked about aerosols. Using a chemical fingerprinting technique based on liquid chromatography, and high-resolution mass spectrometry, yes, never used on vaping samples, but used before to identify organic compounds in wastewater, food, and blood. The team tested 4 popular products, Me Salt, Views, Juul, and Blue. Although it's possible to buy vaping products in hundreds of flavors, here for consistency, they only tested tobacco-flavored liquid.
Okay. First problem.
Well, depending on what types of tobacco flavors they were using, depending on how they were. See, again, it's not. I mean, if they're testing it in an inert way, if they're testing the liquid, so you're getting different results than what would happen once you expose them to electricity.
Yeah, correct.
And depending on how they're vaporizing for gas chromatography, that one.
Chromatography.
Yeah, that one. That's going to get different results as well.
Yeah.
But the whole idea that they did they did that test and they couldn't identify what was in them. So are we saying that vaping liquid contains new and never before tested for compounds? Is that what they're saying? Because they're saying that
it sounds like they've got an apprentice actually running the machine. Honestly, someone that's probably first year running the machine and going, well, hang on a second, what is this? Not being able to understand the data that's being spat out. That's one take I could put.
So this is funny here. One of the main ways electronic cigarettes have been marketed is that they operate at temperatures below combustion, which would make them safer than traditional smoking.
Right.
I have never seen any vaping company, any vaping marketing, any vaping person claim that we vape at a lower temperature than combustion. So therefore it's safer. I've never heard anyone say that. No. That is not the part of vaping that makes it safer than smoking, is not the temperature. I mean, obviously some chemicals do outgas harmful things at certain temperatures. There's no denying it. VG at like 500 degrees starts outgassing acrolein and a lot of other things that are not really good. But I don't know anybody that vapes at 500 degrees.
No.
So, yeah. I've never heard that before. So anyway, the team found that nearly 2,000 chemicals, the vast majority of which are unidentified. Of those, the team could identify 6 substances were potentially harmful, including 3 chemicals never previously found in e-cigarettes. Tarani, that's this postdoc up here, was particularly surprised to find the stimulant caffeine in 2 of the 4 products. Caffeine was previously been detected in e-cigarettes only in the caffeine-oriented flavors like coffee and chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, caffeine, there was a concentrate a while back that was manufactured by Flavor West, and it was a caffeine. And but
we know that coffee obviously has caffeine in it, and we know that chocolate also contains caffeine in it, and some flavors of tobacco actually use coffee notes and chocolate notes.
Yeah, correct.
And depending on whether these are naturally extracted flavorings, which I don't know, you don't know, nobody knows,
no.
Whether these companies use natural ingredients or whether they're chemically. But yes, there are caffeine vapes, but none of the 4 that they were claiming that they tested are. Views and Juul and Blue and Me Vape, none of them are marketed as caffeine vapes. So none of those are intentionally including caffeine. But again, depending on what the threshold is for this test, this could be 1 part per 500 billion. They don't talk about what the dose is. They don't talk about what the threshold of this test is. So, yeah, this is just scare tactics. I mean, this is just them saying, "Oh, well, let's scare the fuck out of people." And obviously, we're going to talk about this week what Bloomberg is doing, because in the magic trick parlance of what's going on, there's some sleight of hand tomfoolery going on, and I don't know that a lot of people are noticing, substitute Kevin, that is happening, because people are just maybe nose to the grindstone, fight, but they forget to pay attention to the details. So I did say, and we talked about it on this show maybe last week or the week before, where there was a little sleight of hand going on with the language being used by Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. And in one of their recent posts on their official website or in their Twitter, they specifically mention a nicotine-free future. Instead of talking about a smoke-free future or a tobacco-free future, they specifically said nicotine-free future. We've seen last week or the week before, Michael Bloomberg put out a press release talking about the FDA dragging their feet on regulation. And again, he focused throughout his entire tirade on nicotine and flavors, but nicotine. So instead of talking about smoke-free or tobacco-free, now, and this has happened very slowly over the last few months, it's all about nicotine. So it's not about harm reduction. It's not about people stopping smoking. Now it's about preventing people from using a substance that they might like. And we've talked about many times on this show how it helps people with mental problems, how it helps people like me with OCD and ADHD and little bipolar, how it helps all sorts of neurodiverse people, as well as people with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Crohn's disease, and other things. Now they're demonizing a beneficial substance because they can't win any battles when it comes to nicotine. So they're again trying to twist the narrative, because people are already anti-vaping because they've spent all this time. Vaping is evil. Vaping is evil. Vaping is evil. People are trying to turn these kids into addicts. Blah blah blah. Now they're going to just, instead of talking about flavors, which they're still going to, it's already in the radar for a lot of these prohibitionists. Now they're just going to go ahead and go after all the nicotines.
Does this mean that Bloomberg's now going to go after vegetarians as well because they have a high nicotine uptake?
Well, depending on how much eggplant they eat.
But you see where I'm coming from. Nicotine's not the
No. You know, one of the most knowledgeable and intelligent harm reduction advocates in Australia says that nicotine only exists in tobacco, Kevin, or substitute, Kevin.
Yeah, I know, and he was called out on that. His name is not mentioned on this show anymore because he is an absolute goose, and he's also a Bloomberg mouthpiece.
Well, he's a Bloomberg mouthpiece that collects a big paycheck from them, and I'll repeat it. He has like 150 followers on Facebook. Yeah. If we stopped paying attention to him, if the vapors of Australia and the vapors of America and the vapors all over Twitter would just not even acknowledge his existence, nobody would see his tweets because he only has like 150 followers. And he's a professor who teaches public health programs and social media, which I think is an embarrassment if that is your specialty. If social media is part of your specialty and you only have 150 followers,
you're not doing a good job.
Somebody's a failure.
You're not doing a good job.
Somebody's a failure. But so magically they've sort of twisted the narrative, and now it's about nicotine. It's not about smoking. It's not about anything other than we don't like you having fun. You know, the back of the Scallywag T-shirt has a, and I'll paraphrase here, but the definition of Puritan is somebody who somewhere who knows or suspects that somewhere there is somebody having a good time. Y'all should buy my T-shirts. I don't even remember exactly what they say anymore. So the nicotine prescription thing has actually taken effect in Australia.
Correct. Bruni's proof that the system doesn't work. He was offered one product and one product only out of the gate by his doctor. And he shared it with us and we just laughed. We said, "You got to be joking me."
So what did the doctor say?
It was a pod system that he was offered. And that
was the only option his doctor gave him?
Yeah, ask Bruni. It's quite interesting how that went down because we'd actually been discussing this product on Twitter. And the father of the son involved with this product, and he keeps going back to the requirement that the TGA has here. It's the ruling on what's going on. And we've pulled it apart because we asked where the product was manufactured. And he said, "Oh, well, we manufacture it." And I said, "No, you don't." And he wouldn't agree with us at all. And then we go to find out that the product that he's had brought in is being distributed here in Australia, but the company is set up in New Zealand. We go on to find out then that the base product in it, it's not a nicotine salt. It's actually an NET, naturally extracted tobaccos. And I said, "Well, hang on a second. We've moved away from this. That's old technology. How the hell did you get this through?"
So if they got a net, there's tobacco-specific nitrosamines in there. There's
thank you.
Thank
you. The irony of this product, and it's manufactured in Germany, by the way, and so
that's called tobacco alkaloids too.
Yeah, thank you. That's a full-blown tobacco product.
Yeah,
but they're going along the lines of what the RACGP wants, or the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners. They want a cap of 20 milligrams with a titration process from 20 milligrams down. And we're looking at this product going, and we're shaking our heads. And he thought that we had no understanding of the technology or how. Oh, that's one of them. That's one of them. No. I'm not going to name the product for anyone.
Well,
because
it's probably a good idea.
The Twitter feed was over 150 comments, and he wouldn't even take the advice of Colin Mendelsohn, the good doctor. And we're trying to understand why or how. And he said, but this is what the RACGP wants. And I said, no, you're misinterpreting the rule. He wouldn't take that either. And I said, I hope you've got deep pockets, because there will be people challenging this. There are no two ways. And I said, but hang on, it's a net. It's old technology. And then he had the audacity to come out and say, but we thought this was the most ethical pathway. And I just went, what the hell? 5 tobacco flavors. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you have a look at them, look, I've got nothing against tobacco flavors, but when they're pushing old technology like that, when we've gone tenfold in front of this by now, and he said, "Oh well, synthetic's only good for pharmaceuticals and things like that," and we've just laughed. We've just, oh wow,
Why?
No, I said the same.
Why would pharmaceutical grade anything be bad?
Yeah. Well, he didn't understand that. Oh yeah, there it is. And selling their products $38 for 3.2 mils. There you go.
So that's what's a pack of cigarettes? What's a pack of cigarettes in Australia?
Same price as a pack of cigarettes for 3.2
so that's what
mils.
They're doing is they're looking at that tax.
But it can't be taxed because it's coming in under the prescription model. The only tax available on it is 10%, which is the GST or goods and services tax.
That's still more than what they would. I mean, they're still getting more tax money off of that than they would for a 30 ml bottle based on retail price.
Well, exactly. But when we started getting into it and I started researching the company, I went, oh my God, how can you even claim this? And someone else said,
don't know.
No, exactly. And then there was other comments that he made, and I'm not going to repeat them because it just makes me angry. It really does.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. And then Dr. Mendelsohn then also alluded to the fact that we do have 41,000 GPs in Australia, yet it's only 1 in 200 that has actually signed up to this prescription model.
Right. And
that's
if they're like the doctors here, they probably will have a preferred product.
Correct.
So that GP is trying to push that product.
Yep.
Another GP might decide to push a different pre-filled pod product.
Yep.
Another one might say, well, I'm only writing you a prescription for this much nicotine so that, a 3-month supply is based on what he thinks you should have.
Yeah, correct. And
instead of what you need or what you think you have. And from experience, that what you need.
Well, look, I work with pod devices, and this is the first pod device that I've got in my hand that actually has a pre-filled pod that it's actually got really good flavor. It's 35 milligram and it's a synthetic, and it does the job. It doesn't have any of the throat hit. That's the difference.
Well, then that's the problem. And you and I discussed that the other night, behind the scenes is my only problem with the synthetic nicotine And the only synthetic nicotine I have experience with is the 5 Ponds, what I bought from 5 Ponds. It gives me the satisfaction. It gives me the nicotine that I need.
Yeah, correct.
But the experience of vaping it is not as pleasurable because it doesn't have the throat hit that I want.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, it tastes fine. It gives me, I'm not chain vaping, so I know that I have the nicotine that I need, but it's not nearly as pleasurable as something with a little throat hit. I'm gonna have to talk to Jay and say, do something to dirty it up a little bit so I get a little bit of a.
I don't think that's going to happen somehow because the
Probably
technology in synthetic nicotine now is so far advanced. It's not funny. And yes, look, you can add that extra edge to it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, for people like me that are mouth to lung vapors that have been vaping a very specific way for a very long time and not really interested in changing my style of vaping, I want some throat hit, so I have to figure out ways to get it. And some people are moving to like frozen or Arctic blast or whatever for that throat hit, throwing in some WS-23 or something to do that, but that doesn't work for every flavor. Like I'm vaping Symmetry 6. I don't think an Arctic blast version of Symmetry 6 would actually work very well. Hey, Addy Tooney. So yeah, I want the little scratchy throat. I want that, chest hit that, you get. And yes, H is right. We all like different types of products and one size does not fit all.
H, I completely agree with that.
I think I have a video about that.
Completely agree.
Yeah, I think I have a video about that. Let me see here real quick. Let's go to video files and share a video file here if my computer will catch up.
But I will say that this blueberry is actually pretty good.
Yeah, here it is. Here, let me play this video about one size not fitting all real quick. Emphysema, all those things that are exacerbated or made worse or even caused by cigarette smoking. Those are, I've said it on this show before, COPD, dying of end stage, COPD is awful. If you've ever seen somebody that has end stage COPD fighting for every breath, I'm sure that everybody that's listening to this show has probably been in a swimming pool and maybe went too deep and didn't have time to get back up for air. And that panic, that fear of trying to get to the oxygen, trying to get that breath. Think about that every moment of every day.
Forever.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you get the fighting for that air, that panic. It's a primal fear that all humans have of suffocation.
Yeah.
And we need to be more sympathetic to those people. We need to understand. Like you said in the intro video, this is not a black and white thing, but tobacco control has made it a black and white thing. And I'm not talking about race in this particular instance. I'm just talking about the fact that they've drawn a line and they've said, this is the way you're doing it. And if you don't do it our way,
you're a criminal.
Forget about you. We're the one. And, having the idea that harm reduction is supposed to be focused on meeting the person that you're trying to help where they are, not trying to drag them to where you are. But that's how they do it. They think that everybody's exactly the same, that if this works for one person, if cold turkey didn't work for some people, there would be more smokers. I'm not going to deny that cold turkey works for some people. If the patches and the gums work for some people, wow, that's awesome. You're not smoking. That's great. But for a lot of us, it didn't work.
Yep.
And they need to understand that there's not one magic bullet. There's not one solution to this problem that's going to solve this problem for everyone. See, I even had a clip. It was a longish clip. I forgot how long it was. But yes, one size does not fit all. And having a plethora of products, a variety of products to serve everyone is what we need. It's what we have.
But that's exactly what we're seeing now. And so far, this whole prescription model, it's a joke from start to finish. And originally, Greg Hunt said that there was going to be, and Skerritt for that matter, said that there was going to be a full campaign. Well, guess what? The campaign was run on social media. A lot of people that are smokers or ex-smokers don't use social media. They go to their vape shop. Oh no, you got to go to the chemist now. You got to go to a pharmacist. You got to go and see your doctor. You got to go and do this and that and this and that, and they're not. And
it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah. I know.
A clusterfuck.
Yes, I understand that. And I've been meeting with people all week and through the night from the industry, and they're all saying exactly the same thing. And now the regulations regarding like labeling and stuff, that hasn't been clarified either. We know that, you know, this isn't going to work for everyone, and they're putting limits. The other rule that they want to put into play is that you have to visit your doctor 4 times a year, not get a repeat script. So you've got, say, $300 in medical fees that you got to add on top, and put even more strain on the health system. G'day, Andrew. This is the problem. It's already going to put more strain on the medical system here in Australia for a start. The doctors are not willing to prescribe either freebase salt, or they are, but they want to limit that as well. They want to take it from 100 milligram that we're normally used to working with. They want to drop that back down to 50 milligrams, and I said, well, the dilution factor of 50 milligrams is going to dilute a lot of the flavors that are readily available on the shelves.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to use a lot more nicotine to dilute.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
and they're not understanding this, and we've tried to explain this to them, but it's falling on deaf ears so far.
Well, it's not.
We don't know what to do anymore.
It you know, and that would happen here if that whole thing was done here. It would be the same. Like, our doctors don't understand the technology. They've been brainwashed. They're also, 70% of the doctors in the United States think that nicotine causes cancer, when they know they have the fucking PDR right in front of them. Yeah. And that, even if you open it to the page and you point to them and you say, read, they'll still say, I know I learned in school. So, even though I know for a fact they didn't, and they've just been brainwashed by all the media and all the stuff. So Matthew Milby says, do you need a prescription for a nicotine patch in Australia or other NRTs?
No, not at all. Because I don't remember the exact year, but NRTs,
the same thing they did here. It used to be prescription based, and then the makers of those products petitioned the court, or petitioned the FDA, and they got moved to a different level, and then they said, oh no, now you can just put it right on the shelf. There are certain drugs, for example, the Sudafed was over the counter.
Yeah, correct.
And then people found out that they could use it to, make illicit chemicals or illicit drugs out of it. So then they moved it behind the counter. And then to get it, you have to go up and request it. And then you have to sign a book, because they want to follow. Now it's probably computerized, But back in the old timey days, you would have to sign a book so that they could keep track of who was buying it.
Yep, correct. We had the same problem here.
Nicotine,
same problem.
Not nicotine, NRT products. No, you don't even have to do that. Your kid legally here in the States, and I don't know what it is in Australia, but 12 and under can legally buy NRT products.
12
legally.
and over here. 12 and over here.
12 and over. Did I say 12 and under?
Yeah. It clearly states on our packaging. GSK products clearly state on Nicorette for use in 12 and over. 16 and under, it says with medical supervision for NRT products or patches, not the sprays and gums. But
and they're all conveniently conveniently placed on the shelf at knee level for adults and straight eye level for toddlers. Yeah. I've seen pictures. I sent out my people to go to their stores and find them. And yes, NRT is found to be not dependence forming.
The gum is apparently.
Well, but on the label it says that it has been found to be not dependence forming. Yeah.
But they've proven now that the gum is. There's been people that I've.
I know people that chew like 6 or 8 pieces at the same time.
Yeah.
So and I know people
for 10+ years.
I know people that are users of nicotine patches that probably have 5 or 6 of them on at one time too. And we know that there's plenty of respectable science that shows that the higher not the Nicoderm patches that are available widely all over the world, but other manufacturers in other parts of the world manufactured their nicotine patches at twice the level of Nicoderm, and they found to be significantly more successful at getting people to quit smoking.
Yeah, correct. They've still got high range patches here in Australia, and I've heard of patches upwards of what's the highest one I saw? 56 milligram. No, 56 milligrams.
56. I actually have a picture of that on Twitter. Because somebody was arguing with me about it, and I found a picture, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that existed." And I'm like, "Well, there you go."
It does.
See, Chris Garland just showed up in the chat room, and Chris, it's your fault that Kevin is not here. I just want you to know that.
Yeah,
because you made me hurt his feelings.
Yeah,
by calling him Ed McMahon. Did I see a tweet or a news article or something that said that Thailand was reconsidering their position on vaping?
I think I saw the same thing.
Did I see that? Because
I think
H is saying that Sudafed is banned in Thailand, same as vapes. There's probably a market for Sudafed vapes here, given that there's an estimated over 1 million Thai vapors. So yeah. Average nicotine content in a patch is equivalent to 30 cigarettes. Well, is that the amount that's absorbed, or is that the amount that's in the patch?
That depending on.
So who is Pippa? Is Pippa smacking you, Kevin?
Probably.
Are you, look, it's the missing brother from 80s boy band bros. Because it can't be me. I definitely don't look like an 80s boy band bro.
Neither do I.
Unless she's talking about Joey Fat One.
Oh, who knows? Bill Darling said, there is.
Well, I mean, H would know because he's actually in Thailand. It says there is a debate going on here. A lot of media coverage funded by the antis. So yeah.
Okay.
Well, and Jeffrey,
it could be interesting.
Jeffrey's in Costa Rica, and he says, yes, there's a parliament member or similar looking for a way to revert the ban in Thailand. So, I mean, I'm not in Thailand, so I don't know, but I thought for sure that I saw something, and I know that H is there, and he did mention that vapes and Sudafed are both banned in Thailand. Look at this. Troop says, Chris, don't feel bad. Patrick was an asshole. Not your fault.
Fair call. That works.
Funny. So, hey, today, last week, we actually shared the document on screen, and we talked about Turning Point Brands filing documents with the court, filing a petition with the courts to have the courts sort of look at what FDA did in the case of their MDO'd products.
Mm-hmm.
And today, we saw reports from Filter that said that the FDA had rescinded the MDOs for Turning Point Brands products.
Yep.
Now, I'm trying to find the Twitter. I've already lost the Twitter. I should have pinned it.
I sent you a link to the article.
I should have pinned it, is what I should have done. Let me go to my private messages from Paul, and that way, yes. So here it is. This is it. I found it. So this is from Alex Norcia. And again, I'm going to rub. So that way I can show it and you guys can actually see it at the same time. Share screen, and let's hit the share button. So it says here, Turning Point Brands PMTAs are back under FDA review. Some breaking news: Turning Point Brands is withdrawing its lawsuit in a federal court of appeals. On Friday, Turning Point Brands, which late last month petitioned a federal court to review a marketing denial order for many of its vapor products, it's withdrawing that appeal. The company's doing so because on Thursday, the FDA administration informed Turning Point Brands the products that had been denied are now back under review. And then there's a quote. It says here, upon further review of the administrative record, FDA found relevant information that was not adequately assessed. And this is from a letter addressed to Brittany Cushman. Many of you probably know, but Brittany, I actually went to dinner with Brittany and about 10 other vaping people at a VTA conference a year and a half, 2 years ago. Very intelligent woman, super smart. It was me and somebody from Yogi and Scout Stubbs and her husband from Arkansas Vapor Trade Association, a bunch of other people. Anyway, she is a Turning Point Brand Senior Vice President of External Affairs, and it was signed by Matthew Holloman, the Director of the Office of Science at the FDA Center for Tobacco Products. It goes on, the quote goes on, it says, specifically, your applications did contain random controlled trials comparing tobacco-flavored ends to flavored ends, which they're all flavored, whether they're tobacco, it's all flavored, as well as several cross-sectional surveys evaluating patterns of use, likelihood of use, and perceptions of current smokers, current end users, and former tobacco users and never users, which require further review. Accordingly, it goes on, this letter rescinds the September 14th, 2021 MDOs for your tobacco products, and the full letter is attached below. FDA also stated in light of the unusual circumstances, the agency has no intention of initiating an enforcement action against any of Turning Point Brands tobacco products identified in that application. And if it were, and if it, this may, I'm sorry, Alex, this is, were to later seek to initiate an enforcement action as to any of these products, it would first send a warning letter. So again, we said this many times since the deadline, sell, save people's lives, continue to do what you would do, because when they catch you, first thing they're going to do is send you a warning letter and then give you 2 weeks to reply. So keep saving people until they catch you. That's all I can say. But anyway, I've seen a lot of people on Facebook that were MDO'd from smaller e-liquid manufacturers, basically saying, yeah, wipe your ass with it, troop. Sorry, guys. I have to be a little irrelevant here, or irreverent. Troop says, "What do I do with the warning letter?" Wipe your ass with it. Anyway, this is both good and bad, kids. I mean, let's be fair. Let's be honest. A lot of people got MDOs. Probably 99% of the people that got the identical MDO, because they were all MDO'd, did not contain the randomized control trials comparing tobacco to non-tobacco flavored e-liquids that this company had millions of dollars to spend. I mean, this is good for Turning Point brands, but it's not good for anybody else, because I've spoken to quite a few of the rather large e-liquid manufacturers that got MDOs. Not a single one of them had this.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a lot of people, oh, well, that means that I should sue the FDA because the reason the FDA did this is because they got sued. Well, no, they got sued, and then they realized, oh, their application actually does have the stuff that we said wasn't in there. And it's not in the vast majority of other PMTAs that have been submitted. So it really doesn't help you. And there's no reason, unless you have a damn good provable case, you're wasting money trying to sue the FDA. Now, if you think you have something that you can prove, go for it. But, this is not some sort of victory for everyone. It is definitely a victory for Turning Points until FDA figures out another reason to send them an MDO. But I wouldn't be celebrating. However, what it does prove is that FDA didn't look at Turning Point Brands' application.
I wonder how many others, like with their cookie cutter approach, okay? And that's what I'm going to say right now. A lot was a cookie cutter letter.
Well, everybody got the same paragraphs. One. Yeah. Everybody got the same one. The only different was where the paragraph breaks were, but the actual verbiage is identical. Yep. But it specifically says you didn't do a randomized control trial comparing your tobacco flavors to non-tobacco flavors, which they did.
Yeah.
Which means that FDA didn't even look at this. They didn't even review they all they would have had to do, substitute Kevin, was review the headers.
Yep.
To see, oh, well, there is a randomized control trial here that compares tobacco to regular flavored e-liquid. But the bot, see, remember I was talking about software solutions? The bot that they used to do the document search was given very specific parameters. This is my opinion. Very specific parameters, and whatever they titled the science of this package didn't have the words that FDA was looking for, so their keyword search didn't turn it up, and no human reviewed the results.
Correct.
That is my opinion of what happened. This is what I predicted would happen months and months and months and months, a year ago, and that they were not going to have a human being look at these, and they did a quick keyword search. The keywords didn't show up, so they sent an MDO, and now they're having to backtrack because Turning Point Brand says, we gave you what you asked for. We gave you what you said in your denial order wasn't there. It's there. It's page 520,000 of our 100 or our 1 million page application. If you go look, you'll find that we submitted what you said we didn't submit. So this which is good. I mean, obviously, this means that we should be able to sue them. We should be able to sue them based on the fact that they didn't actually review shit.
That's
Question.
That's a very interesting one.
Well, the flavor study, it's not a study, it was a survey.
Yeah.
So the survey does not compare usage patterns of tobacco flavors versus regular flavors. What it does is just ask what they prefer. So, and it's not a randomized, clinical control. It's not a randomized study. I think people should use it as part of their PMTA to prove that, for the protection of public health and to show that adults like flavors, but it doesn't meet the specific criteria necessary for this specific requirement, which is something that they didn't put in their original draft guidance to begin with, guys. I believe that's one of the other things is this week, this week, FDA decided to release, or not this week. Was it this week? Yeah. Decided to release guidance for PMTAs a month and a half after the deadline. So here it is. This was on October 4th. So yes, it was this week. So if I go to my share screen and I share the screen and I hit the share button, it's like you got to hit 5 buttons to share a screen. So it says here, look, FDA says on October 4th, today FDA issued 2 final rules for the pre-market review of new tobacco products. These rules provide specific information on the requirements for future PMTAs and SE reports. So look, this is October 4th. When was the deadline? September 8th?
September 9th. Yeah.
September 9th. So over almost 30 whole days after the deadline, let's submit guidance on what people actually need to submit for their PMTAs.
Can I ask a question? Yes. Is the current acting head of the FDA a sacrificial lamb for all of this?
No. I mean,
right.
Why would, here's the thing, Janet Woodcock, who is the acting head of the FDA, knows that she's not getting the permanent post, doesn't directly rule on anything through the Tobacco Center for Tobacco Products.
Right.
This stuff wasn't just created overnight.
No.
I mean, this stuff is this is from Obama till now. So, you can't put it all on her shoulders. I don't think. I mean, obviously, during a pandemic, she probably has important things, and she's probably telling Mitch, "Hey, Mitch, do what you need to do." Mitch doesn't want to regulate these products the way that he's being forced to regulate these products. He's quite positively made lots of statements that say. So again, Matt, I will mention nowhere in no way did FDA ever officially make that statement. The dude, Azar, on a radio program in an interview said it, which means that there's no veracity, there's no legally binding comment, there's nothing, because it's just some dude on a radio show. I said it then and I'll say it now. It was never going to happen. I said it when he said it. I said, this is never going to happen, because if they had provided a cheaper, less stringent, less restrictive way for smaller businesses to get their tobacco products approved, all the big boys would have jumped on the FDA and sued the living shit out of the FDA.
Okay.
It was never going to happen. And FDA knew it. Azar knew it. He just said it to get people off his ass, but it was never going to happen. And, I said it then, I'll repeat it. It was never going to happen, because realistically, Philip Morris and Japan International and every other fucking big tobacco company would, yes, they have fucking armies of attorneys, and so does FDA, but they would have crushed the FDA and they would have won because it's it's anti-competitive business. It's actually unconstitutional.
Okay.
And I said it to begin. I said it then. If you go back on the timeline and find the show, the day after, or that week that he made that comment, I guarantee you I said it then, and I've said it repeatedly since. There's no fucking legal way for them to do it. I wished, and as an industry, we all hoped and wished, but the big guys would never have let it happen.
No.
Because they had already started and spent millions of dollars on their PMTAs. By the time he made that statement, they had already spent millions, and they were not going to. And if I was a big millionaire company and found out that they were giving me one level of requirement to market my equivalent tobacco product or my equivalent vapor product, I would have sued the fuck out of the FDA too. Because it's anti-competitive business practices. It's anti-competitive regulation. This is, a free market country, and that would never have happened.
No, I agree with what you're saying. I understand that part. But
having two different requirements for two different groups, not in the United States, that would never happen.
No.
I mean, we would love it to happen. Obviously, it's what would be fair for smaller companies, but they don't have different regulatory practices for smaller pharmaceutical companies versus larger pharmaceutical companies. Little upstart pharmaceutical companies have to fight tooth and nail to get their products approved. They have to follow every requirement that the big ones do. And they get eaten up all the time by larger pharmaceutical companies.
And we're watching that now with tobacco companies now.
No, the tobacco companies are now buying up all the small pharmaceutical companies.
That's the irony of it. I see it and I go, okay, either this is going to end really well or it's not going to end well. And now there's.
I think ultimately, there was a lot of pushback, but the two mergers that from PMI, two PMI purchases were approved now, and now PMI have two companies that have multiple patents for novel delivery methods for any product that they want to make. And if they want to make a nicotine powdered pouch, they have the best new pouch technology. They have the best new inhalation technology from that one company. They have like 8 or 9 new delivery methods just from purchasing those two products or two companies. And
correct.
If Philip Morris wants to be, combustion free, if they don't want to have cigarettes by 2025 or whatever fictional date that they made up, yes, all the mergers were approved. Then they actually have the methodology now that they can actually make that happen. So, and then Swedish Match,
they're completely out of combustible.
They're completely out of combustibles now. So they divested themselves from their cigar holdings, and they actually had some pretty good companies. They had some pretty good cigars. So I don't.
Who did Davidoff fall under?
They were under Swedish Match.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, no, they're not anymore.
Too. No, really good cigars.
Yeah. Well, now Davidoff is just Davidoff now. They've been divested.
Okay.
So
it's very curious to me how everything's playing out. And there's different fights from different parts of the world. And I hope Thailand does the right thing and reverses that. I hope
that would be cool.
Yeah, I know.
So then H wouldn't be a criminal anymore.
Yeah, but then I could head back to Thailand again and openly vape without a problem.
Well, you're not allowed to take any of those NAMBLA trips anymore.
God.
Stay away from the lady boys.
Really? Really?
Tic Tac.
Really? Wow. Wow. Yeah, everyone's laughing at this one. But
Troop says, "Oh snap!"
Yep. No comment. Good on you, Trip, jackass. But and now I hope, and I honestly hope that the Australian prescription model falls over. I really do, because it's already so fucked up. And
well, it's definitely going to collapse.
I asked a very valid question the other day to both Dr. Mendelsohn and Dr. Wodo. I said, I've been used to working with 200 milligram now for X amount of time developing because of the dilution. And they said, no, you're limited now to 100 milligram and you're limited to a specific bottle size. And I went, oh, great. So that's out the window. So I've still got to get clarification from TGA whether or not I can go back to working with it. But
so my 250 milligram is right out.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's a big fine. That's a big fine.
They'd have to put me in the debtor's prison. Do they have that in Australia? We used to have this thing. If you owed a certain amount of money and couldn't pay, they put you in prison.
Only for traffic violations here. Traffic and
debtor's prison.
No, they don't have that one here.
You don't pay your taxes, you go to jail.
Geez, half the Australian corporate community would be in jail for that one. But no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. But no, I'd like to see that overturned. I'm watching New Zealand very, very closely with how they wheel out their whole system. They didn't go down the pathway of a prescription model.
I was gonna say, I hadn't heard that.
No, well, they didn't. They're doing the right thing. We didn't approve the ICOS here in Australia.
Well, it got disapproved here too. So.
Yeah, okay, point taken. So someone had insider information. If you screw up really badly in Australia, what?
You get deported. They're going to transport you back. Yeah.
Back. Really? I didn't know that one. I had no idea of that one.
Don't get screwed up on purpose.
So what happens? A loaf of bread and I go back to the UK now? Is that the case?
They just transport you.
Yeah, but we're not allowed out of the country at the moment. So where are we going to go?
No, well, you can be deported. You just can't. You can't voluntarily go, but they can kick you out.
Not at the moment. You get put in one of these lovely little.
They put you in a tent city or something.
Privately run camp, yeah.
Yeah, refugee camp.
That's it. They did it, and when the bubble opened, they sent back a number of Australian, New Zealand, back to New Zealand. That was fun.
Hamish says that he has us on the big screen. And he has
to get Kevin's secret of looking younger.
And getting an accent. Substitute Kevin has an accent.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, yeah. So the actual letter of recension, the recension of denial letter, is actually posted on Alex Norcia's article at the bottom.
Right.
So it says here, on September 14th, you received a determination that your new products, as described in your applications, and there's a number, lack sufficient evidence to demonstrate that the marketing of the products is appropriate for the protection of public health. Upon further review, the administrative record, FDA found relevant information that was not adequately assessed. So they admitted, we didn't look at your shit. Specifically, your applications did contain randomized control trials comparing tobacco-flavored ends to flavored ends, as well as several cross-sectional surveys evaluating patterns of use, likelihood of use, perceptions in current smokers, current end users, former tobacco smokers, and never users, which require further review. Right. So what they're saying, I mean, they didn't get an MDO, or they didn't get a marketing order. They got a rescission of their denial, which means that tomorrow FDA could issue a letter saying, we looked at your stuff and we still don't think it proves what we want you to prove. This did
inspections. What was the inspection part?
No, I mean, I will reshare it.
Inspection, clinical, non-clinical research. Okay.
Where did you see that? What paragraph? Right here. We will notify you if samples are required for independent testing and verification. If samples are required, you will be notified by a letter of the number of samples required and the laboratory address where samples must be received. All requested samples should be received by the lab identified in the letter within 14 days of the request.
Well.
And then it says here, with this rescission, your tobacco products described are placed back into the review process. FDA may request to conduct inspections, which may include manufacturing inspections and clinical and non-clinical research inspections to verify the information submitted in your PMTAs. The results of these inspections may also be used to verify the information submitted in any additional applications that reference the same manufacturing and research information. To ensure that the appropriate records and personnel will be available during the inspections, FDA will notify the points of contact identified prior to the inspection start dates. So what they're saying, substitute Kevin, is that we could ask to inspect your manufacturing facility. We could also request to inspect the scientific lab that the science was conducted in, and we could also want to interview the scientists that conducted the science that you are using for your PMTA.
Yeah, correct.
And that those inspections and those interviews could be used to confirm or deny the veracity of your science.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to use the word veracity. That's one of my word of the day toilet words. Everybody should use word of the day toilet paper.
Okay. Well, toilet paper's now become a drink word. Charlie, I completely agree with you on that one. I completely agree. Yep,
no,
that's right.
No. We have multiple vendor trade associations in the United States, and didn't seem to help us much. Having 2 or 3. I'm just being a dick now.
But no, the problem here is in Australia. Well, it's vendors, manufacturing, vendors, and retail. Yes, but it needs to be broken down. There needs to be different sections. And that was,
if you're a retail association, if you're a retail location and you don't manufacture anything, you have no business being in the manufacturers trade association.
Yeah, correct. But there needs to be manufacturing, wholesalers, and then retail. The 3 levels. I agree, Charlie.
Why does my knee hurt all of a sudden?
Well, you need to go back and have it fixed again, don't you? Or it's your work that's doing it to you.
Yeah, it's just being on it all day. So
stores being closed recently. Where? Here in Australia, Bruni?
Or there's tons of stores in the United States closing.
Yeah, I know they're going left, right, and center over there at the moment. It's ridiculous. But it's even interesting when you email or you call the TGA here in Australia. Oh, we'll get back to you in 3 to 4 business days.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's pretty fast turnaround compared to the States.
I know, but even then, you get someone on the other end of the phone, and it's quite funny. But going back to that letter and these inspections, are they going to send uneducated contractors in to conduct these inspections? They'd have to be someone from that panel.
No, for the retail sting sales, yeah, they're gonna
contractors, but
for the scientific stuff, it'll be people from the Center for Science.
It'd have to be professional, not contractors.
Yeah,
there's no way in the world.
Puritanism, the haunting fear that someone somewhere may be happy. Actually. Had to go look at the shirt to make sure that I knew what the hell it actually said. Mm-hmm. Did you notice, Kevin, that I have matching hat and shirt? You see my
sort of, kind of. That's more of a Shiraz color.
Well, it's black and red. It's just a black and red plaid, but it does more match the red shirt than any of the other.
It reminds me of a bottle of port, though.
I have a bottle of port right there.
Port's always a good thing.
Yeah. Right there.
It works.
Yeah.
We'll just see how it all plays out.
Well, I mean, what are we going to do? We're not giving up, are we?
No, God, no.
Are you guys giving up?
No.
Are the people in the chat room watching the show, are they going to give up?
Nope.
I don't know. So. Nobody's answering. We'll see. Tom says yum. So I don't know if he thinks that quitting is appealing. So Shannon, one person said no. I think the rest there's a bunch of quitters fighting. Because nobody's responding.
No, we'll keep fighting.
Well, yeah, but if you and I are... Oh, no, Didymus and Addie, and okay, finally there's... I was worried that Mark Sliss was going to give up because it's not like he didn't just help crush a flavor ban in his state.
No, that's big news. That's big news.
That is pretty big news.
Yeah.
And okay, now people are finally responding. Okay, H. All right, now we have an international cohort of people saying that they're going to continue to fight.
Yep.
Hamish just tagged me in a Twitter.
Here we go.
Hamish just tagged me in a Twitter. So it says here, I'm going to share it on screen. You Aussie criminals. You Aussie criminals here says 5 minutes from home, suburban Melbourne, $2 in China, $20 retail, middleman involved. Ain't gonna stop unless regulated. And there's a whole bunch of these disposable. There's these are the if this is the one I think it is, it's I think this is the one that's like the disposable that has like 10 mils of e-liquid in it.
Yep, that's them. They're the big bangs. Oh wow, there's Twinkies on that desk.
Well, I like Twinkies.
So do I.
And they're good for like ever.
Chris doesn't. They block your toilet up.
Well, why are you doing flushing a damn Twinkie in the toilet?
Mark was celebrating and couldn't type. Yeah, okay. Point taken.
Yeah. Well, you still had one hand free.
Oh, well.
So, yeah, we could go into like the well, I don't know that I would feel comfortable pirating this kind of crap. Well, one to hold the microphone and one to, or the microscope and one to do the work, Mark.
Yeah, well, we can always send Pepper and Tweezers for that job.
Yeah, I was going to say we could go in, we could buy, a couple $1,000s worth of those and make a pretty good profit. But I'm not comfortable. With that at all.
But this is the really funny part, that the Australian government's pushing towards a pod system, and then we've got this crap everywhere.
You get these illegal pods everywhere, huh?
Oh,
so
it's out of control now. You can go to just about any corner store and find them. Even tobacconists now are selling them. And they've got the ones with zero nicotine on the front counter, and they got the hot ones behind the counter. That's how it works here.
I actually don't personally have a problem with nicotine or with disposable products at all.
No,
I loved, and I'm kind of mad that I can't get them anymore. But Enjoy had a blueberry. It was called Enjoy Daily. It was a little blue cig-alike.
Yep.
And would last a day and a half or so. Those were good. And the Enjoy King, as far as I'm concerned, when I first started, they were king. I thought that they were amazing.
Well, the one that I'm vaping, well, this is a blueberry one, and this is from
I think it was blackberry. It wasn't blueberry. It was
well, this one's actually from SX Mini. So yeah,
I know where it's from because
they're pretty good.
I didn't get one.
Well, but these are actually pretty damn good for what they are. I was shocked, to tell you the truth, what the quality of the flavor is.
So, and you know about this, Paul, because I sent it to you the other day. So I have a Gmail account that I never use or hardly ever use. And I checked it the other day, and my Gmail account, which I've never registered with any company, it's sort of a backdoor account that I don't, it's just there in case I need to fallback place. If Yahoo, because that's my Yahoo account is the one I've always used for years and years and years. And but I went to my Gmail the other day, and I saw I was inundated over the same day. In the same day, I got 3 emails from the same vaping company selling vapable, disposable Delta 10 products, which I don't know anything about Delta anything other than the fact that, like, I thought Delta 8 was the shit that everybody was the bomb on, and here we are. I have to rub it. Oh, I can't rub it. Oh,
8, 9, 10.
This is. Oh, what the hell?
What?
I lost my picture.
Oops.
I lost my picture. Look at all this. I'm talking to Bill Tarling and Paul behind the scenes.
Yep.
Here, I'll go back to these damn pictures. Here, show me this picture. Okay. Delta 10. This is from September 8th or 28th, excuse me. The same exact product in a different color scheme. Delta 10. Same fucking company. Oh, look. Delta 10. What the fuck is this Delta 10 shit, people? And how did you get my fucking email address that I've never given out to anybody? What the hell?
Well, I use Gmail all the time, but they end up in my spam folder. And they're going straight through to your main.
No, they don't go to my. Like I only. Well, I mean, my Yahoo account. I think they do a pretty good job of separating the chaff, because I don't get a lot of that crap in my Yahoo account. But I was like, what the hell? What is this doing in my damn Gmail account?
Well, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Redonkulous, as you'd say.
It's redonkulous, yeah. So here, let's make. What does it say? They do being sold everywhere. Exposes more smokers to cheap introduction to vaping, both its simplicity and high nic. But it's Delta 10. It's not a. Oh, he's talking about that disposables have a place in the market. I don't disagree.
Well,
I don't disagree at all.
They do. A lot of
if
people.
it gets them in the door, them in the door, then they're doing what they need to do.
Jeffrey says it. Yeah, Google Ads advertising. That's how.
If it does the same thing that I didn't get it. I never used. I mean, I did use a disposable later, but the first thing that I bought was a Cigalite that was a refillable, the refillable cartomizers. And it got me interested in vaping to do enough research to find out that there were other things available. But yeah, I mean, as a first step, disposables are perfectly fine. And for some people, that's the only step that they need. They might be awesome.
Well,
and
the
people
key
like them.
the key is, okay, instead of buying a pack of cigarettes, they walk in, they see them on the counter, and they go, bang.
Well, see here, Bruni makes a good point. He says Mark is spot on. So Mark says they do. Being sold everywhere exposes more smokers to a cheap introduction to vaping. Both the simplicity and high nic help some quit. The simplicity is good for people with both mental and physical challenges, and they are also the most safe and effective for institutions and prisons. That's why Australia is pushing closed pods.
Why?
Because they're safe and effective for institutions and prisons.
Right. We're the biggest institution on the planet by the looks of it.
Well, and they are a penal colony. So, I keep bringing that up. I'm gonna flog that dead horse until it comes back alive. So hey, let's make Mark happy. And I did mention it in the show notes. So it says here, Michigan drops plans for a permanent ban on flavored vaping and seeks a new fix. Yep. So it says here, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services this week abruptly pulled back rules that would have banned the sale of flavored nicotine products in Michigan. The move prompted the cancellation of a Thursday legislative meeting where Republican lawmakers were expected to question the advance of the proposed rules. The department had worked for close to 2 years to develop the permanent rules after Governor Caitlyn Jenner controversial emergency rules banning the sale of flavored nicotine. Oh, no, that says Gretchen Whitmer. I'm sorry. I always get the two confused. Flavored nicotine products in 2019 were batted down by state courts. The department said it pulled back the proposal on Wednesday because it's working on an alternative legislative solution to address youth vaping, one that so far appears to be significantly scaled back from the department's full ban. For more than 2 years, the department has been working on a collaborative and effective public health solution to prevent youth from a lifetime of nicotine addiction, said Bob Wheaton, a spokesperson for the Department of Health and Human Services. During that time, we have worked to find any solutions to this issue, whether it be through rulemaking or legislation. So the legislative solution the department was referring to is a 6-bill package that would impose an 18% tax on liquid nicotine solution used in electronic cigarettes. The package would allow for the sale of flavored vaping products, but ban marketing the products toward youth and penalize sales clerks who don't make a diligent inquiry about whether a customer is a minor. The bill would also change the age requirement for buying tobacco and vaping products from 18 to 21, bringing the state law in line with recent federal changes. So I need Mark, how comes there's no language in this
calling Mark
that would penalize the actual kid?
Yeah, correct.
For trying to break the law.
It goes to the sales clerk, not to the kid.
I mean, shouldn't both of them be punished? I think both of them should be punished.
Well, yeah, that too.
I don't have a problem with punishing a salesman or a shop owner that breaks the law. I don't have a problem with that. Why are there not any youth penalties, Kevin or Mark?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's just said it. There are no youth penalties.
I know that there's not. I'm asking why.
That's bullshit, Mark.
Do a better job, Mark.
Seriously?
No, it's not Mark's fault because he doesn't have billions of dollars like Bloomberg and Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids and all these organizations, because they specifically say we will not support any legislation that punishes the children.
Yeah, again, because they haven't listened to us.
Yeah, no, and they won't. They won't. It's not Mark's fault, even though I just laughingly, jokingly picked on him about it. But it is not his fault. It is the fact. It is the fault of Bloomberg, specifically Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. Those two organizations specifically demand that cities and counties, states, and federal governments impose penalties on the sellers of these products, and specifically say we will not support any legislation that targets kids, the actual rule breakers.
New Zealand as well has got the same. Here in Australia, they will fine a kid now. But again, you see police walking past kids that are vaping, they don't care. And it's like, well, who's going to enforce this crap?
So here's the thing. In Texas, I know for a fact. So in Texas, if a kid gets caught with a pack of cigarettes or a cigarette, the people that are there to question them are specifically instructed to threaten the kid with a penalty, or if you tell us where you got it and you work with us, we won't penalize you. So it's the same trick they pull on drug dealers, like street level drug dealers. We're going to bust you. But if you become an informant and turn on your supplier, then we'll let we'll give you a smack on the wrist and send you on your way. And then, you're on the hook for us anytime we need you to be an informant. So what they're saying is you tell us that you bought it at this vape shop over there, and we'll go in there and arrest them or fine them. And all you'll have to do is attend a weekend seminar on tobacco education. That's what they do here.
Okay. Is that like that, those old drug seminars that you had when you're in school? Not the DARE program or whatever it's called?
Oh, probably. But it's a state managed program here in Texas for cigarettes. For cigarettes, not for vaping. The vaping doesn't have any penalty for the child at all. Period.
Okay. Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So no. I mean, they're going to go after ultimately, that's because Bloomberg and his cohorts wrangled that language in Texas.
Right. Yep.
For the vaping. Go after the seller, not the child. Cigarettes, go after the child, but offer them this free get out of jail free card.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Point taken. But wow. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense at the end of the day.
This is the government. It's not supposed to make sense.
Oh, but can't something make sense once,
We're required to make sense.
Hang on a second.
But
Chugga, Harold the Giraffe does our school programs. What the hell? It's Harold the Giraffe.
Is that like Jeffrey the Giraffe from Toys R Us's like retarded cousin or something?
Oh wow!
What the hell's that? I'm a Toys R Us kid.
That's bad.
Now she's challenging me. She says, "Google Harold the Giraffe."
Yeah.
Okay. Harold the Giraffe. Oh. Okay. And let's do Harold the Giraffe. Tobacco.
What's he speaking on? Look it up. This is going to be fun.
Let's see. Oh, this might be interesting. Well, no, but this is not what. I don't think this is it. But let's see. Okay. Watch on YouTube. Let's see what this is.
Yeah, NZ Schools, Harold the Giraffe.
No, I found tons of Harold's Giraffe, but they didn't say anything about smoking. But I did find another thing. So let's look at this. Hey, we're going off script now, kids. Ready, set, play.
Oh, wow.
ขอไฟหน่อยขอยืมไฟแช็กหน่อย
ดูดเองจริงๆเหรอ
ไม่ให้นะอย่าเลย
ดูดไม่ดีนะเลิกดูดได้มันมียาฆ่าแมลงอยู่ในเมมโมรี่ด้วยนะ ดูดแล้วหน้าแก่นะ
สูบบุหรี่แล้วก็ตายเร็วไม่อยากอยู่เล่นนานๆแล้วมันไม่ดีรู้เปล่าสูบแล้วเป็นทั้งมะเร็งปอดโรคโป่งพองเกินเลือดในสมองแตก
ไม่ดีแล้วพี่ดูดทำไมล่ะคะ
Hey, that's a Taiwanese stop smoking commercial.
Wow.
That's pretty. You know, we talked about that. We could.
That's actually more brutal, right? When you think
Yeah.
about it, than anything that the orange people have done up until date. That actually hits home a hell of a lot harder than anything that they've tried to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Like hats off. Like actually, hats off to whoever put that together.
that was
I don't
Taiwan.
say
It was
that,
Taiwanese.
and I don't even say that. But that's hats off to whoever did that, because wow.
Okay, so Healthy Harold. Healthy Harold.
Here we go.
There's no video on this one though. So let me share screen. Let's see. Healthy Harold helped my dad stop smoking. Kristen Amiette's dad gave up smoking 20 years ago thanks to a visit to Kristen's school from the Life Education van. The Healthy Harold graduate and junkie journalist shares her memories of seeing Healthy Harold in her hometown of Coonabarabran.
Coonabarabran.
Well, I was getting there.
Right.
Had to phonetic it. I had to sound it out. And what it means for kids in the bush to have this experience. I don't think they should be talking about kids' bushes. That's not appropriate. Not appropriate at all. And let's see, there's a hot link to Healthy Harold. So it says Healthy Harold is a lovable giraffe, caring and loyal friend, and passionate advocate for the health and the safety of all Aussie children.
Yep.
And their families. Healthy Harold is an Australian icon. She said New Zealand, but this is they stole New Zealand stole Healthy Harold. Substitute Kevin.
Probably the other way around.
So, alongside Life Education, Healthy Harold has been visiting schools for 40 years. These visits are often remembered as an amazing experience and one of the best parts of my school year by students and a fun, interactive way that really engages students by teachers. And there is a child petting Healthy Harold on this young lady's arm. Is there actually photographs? Oh, there's Healthy Harold. So in the 70s, Healthy Harold was a sock puppet. You can see here. Then there is an interactive mobile learning center in the 80s. And then a poor kid or poor somebody had to sit and wear this damn hot suit in the middle of hot Australian summer. And now in the 2000s, he's in a book. So let's see. Why a giraffe? Some say the unique spots on a giraffe are a metaphor for the uniqueness of each child. Others think he's so healthy, it's only natural to look up to him. One thing is for certain, Healthy Harold holds a special place in the hearts and minds of many Australians, both young and old.
Never heard of him.
You're one of the old ones. But, you know, they did show that it started in the 70s, and that's way after you finished school.
Thanks. I've done a very good job of embalming myself over the years.
Yeah, all that booze.
Oh, yeah.
All that booze. Let's see.
That too.
Let me go back to the Google thing and let's see if there's any photographs of Harold, the giraffe.
But honestly, I do not remember him from school.
Well, I just feel really bad for the giraffe having to allow all these people to shove their hand up their ass because he's a puppet.
Oh, jeez. Too funny.
Well, look here. Let me open this picture in a window here. Oh, apparently Harold is also in China or Hong Kong. Because he's also here in China daily, and Hong Kong's dynamic life education activity program sparks children's curiosity on health, body, and education. And here's this Hong Kong guy shoving his hand up the giraffe puppet's ass. See? I never heard of this, Kevin. Or, yeah, substitute Kevin. Poor Paul's going to get tired of being called that after a couple hours.
No, it's all right.
Yeah. So Hong Kong is using the same program. Interesting. Look up NZ TV. Australia steals all of our stuff.
Yep.
Well, it says, were they? I mean, Yolanda, you're not old enough to remember the 70s, but they were showing it in Australia in the 70s. Was he around before in the 70s in Australia or in New Zealand?
No idea.
Now we got to get down to the bottom of who stole what.
Yep. Oh.
Hey, there's Janine. Janine says, "Oh, hey, Paul and Patrick.
Hello,
Why
Janine.
am I second? This is my show. I should be first." See, they're already relegating me to the role of co-host to Paul now.
Oh, well.
This is why I'm bitter and mean.
I'll change my name. Son of Liberty Works.
Oh. You know, I can actually change your nickname. I can rename you.
I know.
I could call you Tic Tac.
No.
I did that the last time, actually.
Yeah.
So I think we've spent enough time on the Jeffrey Giraffe or Harold the Giraffe. See, at least Jeffrey the Giraffe rhymes. And, you know, did sell lots of toys. Now Tom is saying, school, bro, didn't all correctional institutions have one? See, now Tom's picking on you about being a criminal.
You know, it happens. It goes with the territory.
I wouldn't take that from him.
No, that's fine.
I wouldn't do it.
I sort of went to school. I'm actually back at school. So, yeah, there you go.
They have school for senior citizens?
Yeah, they do now, actually.
once you're over 50 in
We
Australia,
call those nursing homes here.
Oh, come off it.
I work for a company that owns quite a few.
No, but once you're over 50 here, and because of COVID, they've actually allowed us all to go back to school again. So I'm back doing my diploma of business.
Well, mind your own business.
Okay, no problems.
I am so mean. Yeah, here it says Swedish match to become the world's first smoke-free tobacco company. Earlier this month, Swedish Match announced plans to sell off its remaining cigar business by late 2022 in a move that would turn the company into the world's first major smoke-free tobacco brand. And let's see, who did they sell? Come on, Jim McDonald. No, this is not Jim McDonald. This is Diane Karuna. Diane Karuna. Who did they sell? Who did they sell their shit to or from? It doesn't say. I could have sworn that they had Davidoff though.
It rings a bell with me because here in Australia, you had to go to very specialized shops just to get Davidoff cigars, but you could always get Davidoff cigarettes.
Yeah. So the other good news is that Laguna Beach, California, also rejected their flavor ban that was proposed this week.
Well, that's two. Who else?
So Michigan State and Laguna Beach, California.
Well, that's two.
So they already have a ban on smoking in public places, but they did decide not to ban flavors in Laguna Beach. So, that's cool. We were talking, was it last week? You and I were talking, we're specifically talking about Camel exotic flavored cigarettes that they had in the orange mid 90s, early 90s. And yes, they had an amazing citrus tobacco that's the bomb. And if they were still out today at almost 50, I would probably be fighting the urge to go to the convenience store and buy a tin of those because they were that good.
I remember them.
I'm not going to lie.
When I could find them.
So is our friend from Costa Rica still here?
Which one?
Well, we only have one friend from Costa Rica that I know of.
I think he's still there sitting in the chat somewhere.
Well, I haven't seen him post for a minute because we should probably mention Costa Rica. Jeffrey, are you still here? Jeffrey Zamora, paging Jeffrey Zamora. So Costa Rica passed a public vaping ban.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I didn't know. I didn't hear that.
Well, this is from October 7th. Costa Rica to ban vaping in public, and it says here, Project 21.658 was approved with 33 votes in favor and 7 against. 17 deputies did not participate in the vote. The bill must still be signed into law and published in La Gazzetta before it takes effect. In addition to banning vaping in most public places, the bill also contemplates a tax on vaping devices and accessories. The health ministry has endorsed this project, which was first introduced prior to the coronavirus pandemic. I think this project is extremely important for the country. It has the full support of the Ministry of Health. It is completely in line with the health alert we already issued regarding the use of vaping devices, where we have been very clear that there is no study that can show e-cigarettes are a smoking cessation therapy. On the contrary, we have de-incentivized the use of cigarettes and the use of vaporizers. The taxes would be allocated to the Costa Rican Social Security Fund and be earmarked for the treatment of diseases related to tobacco consumption. The use of these vaporizers or electronic cigarettes with or without nicotine represents a considerable health risk, said Luis Aiza, one of the bill's proponents. Since 2012, Costa Rica also banned smoking in most public places. The Comprehensive Smoking Reforms Act that year forbids smoking in bars, restaurants, public buildings, casinos, bus stops, and taxi stands. That has contributed to a decrease in tobacco use among Costa Ricans, authority says. And Jeffrey did not see. I think that Jeffrey was waiting for me to cover this, and he disappeared before I could find it. I'm sorry, Jeffrey. Jeffrey. You don't remember that?
What's that?
Bill Cosby did I know it's not popular to enjoy Bill Cosby's stand-up from like the 80s, but he did a really cool bit about flying on a plane and this little kid named Jeffrey kicking the back of his chair. It was quite funny.
Don't remember.
Ay, Dios mío, that was good stuff. So where's this?
I just wish Australia had opened up so I could get a haircut.
Where's Tasmania?
Otherwise known as the apple oil, at the very bottom of our country. Why?
Well, because there's a story here from Tasmania.
Otherwise known as Van Diemen's Land.
So it says nicotine vaping law change criticized by ex-smokers.
Yep.
And this was written by Nikita McGuire. And this is from the Cowra Guardian, Cowra. Cowra. I was right the first time. And there's this dude. His name is Ryan Hussey, and he's from 888 Vapes in Launceston. He makes nicotine-free vape liquids and sells them online to local and national stock lists. He is concerned about the future of the business in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So it says a Tasmanian business owner has raised concerns that recent changes in vaping laws could result in former smokers taking the habit back up. Under federal government changes that came into effect October 1st, it is now illegal to obtain nicotine-containing vaping liquids or products without a doctor's prescription. Ryan Hussey owns and operates, say it, Launceston's.
Yep, Launceston. Yeah,
Launceston's 888 Vapes, which produces nicotine-free e-cigarette liquids. He is the only manufacturer of vape liquids in Tasmania, and deals largely with online orders and mainland and Tasmanian stockists.
Yep.
Stockists. Like many in the vaping community, Mr. Hussey disagrees with the regulations that mean those wanting to obtain nicotine-containing vape products must get a prescription from a GP. I don't think scripts are the way to go, he says. You can still buy cigarettes anywhere. It's hypocritical. Every person now needs a script, and that will mean some doctors will be signing scripts for vaping for months on end just to keep up with the demand. Mr. Hussey moved to Tasmania in 2016 and was introduced to vaping after being a heavy smoker who consumed 20 cigarettes a day. When I moved down, the guy delivering our furniture was vaping, and I asked him what it was. He told me about vaping and took me to a vape shop to buy my own. I started vaping and haven't touched a cigarette since. God bless that furniture mover guy.
Yep. The other reason that furniture removalists and truck drivers here in Australia, they're not allowed to smoke in the cabs of their trucks anymore if they're hired by a bigger company. They're allowing vaping. Like their employers will allow you to vape in the truck because it doesn't leave like stink or stench.
So it says some other people that I know still vape and then have 2 or 3 cigarettes a day, and some just cut out cigarettes completely and go to vaping. In contrast to Mr. Hussey's opinion, Health Minister Jeremy Rockcliffe said the government stance remained firm.
Oh, God. Yeah.
We love our tax money. The Tasmanian government's long-term position, based on the advice from health experts, is that the evidence is far from settled on the extent that a personal vaporizer may damage a person's health or whether they sing a personal vaporizer. What? or whether they sing may damage a person's health, or whether they sing a personal vaporizer product is more effective than other measures already available to aid smoking. That sentence doesn't make sense.
I know.
What does singing have to do with vaping? We will continue to follow the recommendations of the World Health Organization, the Australian National Health and Medical Research Council, to have a regulatory framework in place.
Bruni, can you clarify this? I don't think Tasmania has anyone that will prescribe nicotine at this point. I don't think any of the doctors. They've got a lot of problems in Tasmania because of smoke-free Tasmania. They're very staunch against.
Is the Tasmanian devil? Does he have anything to do with this?
No, not at all. He's fine, but it's smoke-free Tas that has a lot to do with this. CCA, like Cancer Council Australia, all the bad actors, all the bodypart.orgs. That's how I see it.
Apathy says that the WHO are not experts. Of course they're not.
No.
And hello, Apathy Miller. Hello.
How are you, Josh? G'day, Josh.
So it says California to impose a 12.5% excise tax on vaping products. Are you in California? If you are, why are you still there?
California.
I must know. And I can't even read this article because it says I must register now for Law 360.
Right.
To read this article. I'm not doing it.
Nope.
I'm not
registering.
doing it.
Just gets us into trouble.
I don't want them to know who I am. So the International Policy Digest put out an article 2 days ago. And the headline is, this will be a good one. I like this one already. This is from Alice Watson Brown and is published in the International Policy Digest. So I will slap this on screen. Let me go over here and rub it. I'm rubbing it live just for you guys so you can see how good of a rubber I am. See how nice I am? I'm really successful with this rubbing thing. So it says, and there's an ad right there that's just pissing me off.
Which one?
This big banner over here just really annoys the shit out of me.
Oh, you got to learn how to put an ad blocker on.
Yeah, I know. What the hell is this? Gatsby chocolates? Where's Chris?
Hang on. Is Chris still there? We found the chocolate.
There's your chocolate, man. Bloomberg's anti-vaping policies are exploitative and wrong. Plastered with eye-catching slogans and stirring photographs of young activists, ex-New York mayor and billionaire Michael Bloomberg's. Look at this. Do you see this? Read that sentence. Plastered with eye-catching slogans and stirring photographs of young activists. See, this is one of those like look behind the curtains. This is like one of those. Did we just let out a secret? Plastered with eye-catching slogans and stirring photographs of young activists, ex-New York mayor and billionaire Michael Bloomberg's campaign for tobacco-free kids website boasts a virtuous protection scheme for future generations of poor countries by promising to advance health equity and save lives. So they've just announced to the world that we know for a fact that campaign for tobacco-free kids is owned by Michael Bloomberg.
Yeah, openly.
They can't. I mean, International Policy Digest does have a lot of ads on their website, but I will overlook that for the fact that they have unveiled the worldwide conspiracy. Yes, Costello, worldwide conspiracy. The campaign seems to want to make everything in the world better, praising itself for taking on the toughest fights Surely this is enough to touch the heart of even the most cynical among us. Yet Bloomberg's campaign appears to be behind the push from unaccountable global forces to ban e-cigarettes, the proven safer alternative to smoking. This movement is a direct attack on public health and will achieve little in reducing tobacco-related deaths. As to be expected, the scheme has to do with dragging children out of poverty and saving people's lives, and much more to do with wrapping poorer countries, which have less money to spend on healthcare, around their well-polished and unscrutinized fingers. Naturally, the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids website is packed with evidence from the World Health Organization, to whom Michael Bloomberg, or Bloomberg Philanthropies, the parent company of Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, has donated $1 billion towards its tobacco harm reduction initiatives. It's
$1
an
billion.
NGO match made in heaven. Take Mexico, for example. Was it a coincidence that supposedly pro-cannabis activist President Lopez Obrador announced a stringent vaping ban after his health secretary commissioned Bloomberg to advise on the matter of vaping? Given that the country, that the smoking rate in Mexico peaked in 2019, and the vast evidence in the country, in countries such as the UK, that e-cigarettes are an invaluable tool for smoking cessation, you'd have thought that President Obrador would have encouraged the use of e-cigarettes. Seemingly not. Bloomberg appears to have used his monetary influence as a manipulative tool and has become some sort of independent government advisor, implementing his agenda with little scrutiny. Moreover, the Mexican government should perhaps look over at the Philippines, who are now exposing Bloomberg for his moralistic strings that he attached to the funding of their healthcare initiatives. The same thing happened in Vietnam after they received $2.3 billion. Some may still call it the toughest fights. Others are appropriately might call it exploitation or blackmail. I love this article. Not only does such coercive bribery highlight the menacing nature of NGO influence on elected governments in economically vulnerable states, but it also ignores the serious issue of public health. Mexico suffers from 141 smoking-related deaths per day, costing its healthcare system billions of dollars per year. But of course, the logical move is to ban one of the most reliable forms of quitting because Bloomberg said so. Bloomberg's unwarranted influence also stifles the innovation of safer, non-combustible products, which would only aid these economies. In the UK, where vaping is recommended by the National Health Service as a means of quitting, more and more small independent vape businesses are popping up on the high street, as well as family-run corner shops stocking vape products. We have the second lowest smoking rates in the EU, with vape sales pumping 450 million pounds, not euros, pounds into our economy and the NHS. These can only be good things, especially given the context of economic recovery post-pandemic. By aiding these harmful bans, Bloomberg, with the WHO in his pocket, is creating a toxic regime of private governance. It creates fear where it is not needed over safer smoking alternatives, brings harm to innocent citizens, and exploits economic weakness. It must be said, I'm sure they would adore a meeting with yours truly, a female ex-smoker and loyal vapor. They can do their toughest work to save me from slipping into the sexist tropes promoted by tobacco and vaping industries they claim so prominent. We must call on European countries to lead by example and reject the influence of organizations seeking to dictate policy directions under the guise of objective science. The WHO is no longer a soft power in every country that turns to its financial motivation or financially motivated to adopt its harmful policy recommendations. Who the fuck wrote this?
Yeah.
Alice Watson Brown. I love you now. I will not cheat on my wife with you, but I still love the words that you just put on my screen. I'm going to put that right in the chat room for everybody. And now, just to first, I got to go see if Alice Watson Brown lives on Twitter. Let's see. Alice. Let me. I'm gonna go follow this girl, Alice. Alice Watson. There she is. I am going to follow you. She's British. She's from the UK. She's from the University of Bristol. Everyone.
Okay. Young Voices UK, University of Bristol. She's
a political contributor. Everybody. Just do what I just did. Go over here. Blam. Kablam.
She just whacked him with a big stick. That's the best one I've read in a while.
She's a young child. She's I think 21.
But to write something like that,
that is good journalism right there.
And the facts that she's put forward are actually,
I know. I'm gonna go tweet. I'm going to live tweet. Here we go. Yeah. Let's see. I just read an amazing news piece by at Alice Watson Brown. Boom. What does my next word need to be? Dragging. I can't type when I'm looking at this screen. I can't type. I can type when I'm looking at this screen, but not this screen. Dragging at Bloomberg and at
the WHO.
Bloomberg philanthropies. What? Did I misspell Bloomberg?
He might have been blocked.
Do you think Bloomberg Philanthropies would do that to me?
Oh, I don't know. Probably.
Oh, no, there it is right there.
There it is.
Bam. And Bloomberg.org on their corrupt. No. Their attempts to should we what's a better word for we're gonna what are they called, low LMICs, is that right?
Yeah,
yes.
Low middle income.
Yes, LMIC C's public health with, let's see, I gotta also make sure that I get the link in there before I run out of characters. Always look at your little ring here, guys, when you're posting or tweeting.
Excuse me?
Always look at the little thing, so you know how many. I mean, you're always looking at your little thing. I don't need,
little ring.
Your little thing.
But for her to write something like that out of the UK, and it's, yes, Shannon, that was gone over in that article, like
What?
TFK, like tobacco-free kids, and
I just think it's amazing that she called out the fact that Bloomberg owns Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids.
Yeah, I know.
Bam! It's like, take that for a minute.
She's a brave girl for coming out and doing that and saying that, for that matter. It's good to see.
And I still have 12 characters left.
Yep.
Woohoo! Y'all not only go give her a follow, but retweet. Go and retweet her tweet of the article as well. It's like right there on her profile.
It's ballsy.
Yeah, right there. The World Vapors Alliance already did. See, we're behind, Kevin.
Oh, okay. Well,
but it didn't get much love. So give it some more. Give it some more love.
Ding, 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 ding.
When we see amazing shit like that, we need to amplify the fuck out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Blam. Thank you, Janine and Bruni. No, Bruni didn't retweet it. Bruni, get your retweeter out.
Get your what out?
Your retweeter.
Your retweeter.
That sounds dirty.
Yep.
Janine's the only one of you guys that is worth a damn.
Oh.
She already retweeted first. And now Yolanda. Thank you, Chugga. That we even beat Kevin to this. We never get to beat Kevin. Actually, I'm going to beat him.
Well, that's a change.
How Amanda Gallagher really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Amanda says she doesn't have Tweeter.
Yep.
How do you not have Tweeter? You got to get Tweeter. I'll teach you how to use it. If you look on our old shows, we've actually done quite a lot of shows on how to tweet. Our entire World Vape Day, Kevin and Paul and I spent like 5 hours live tweeting the entire time. You were there, right? You were there.
Yeah. There was.
And during the rally too, right?
Yep, correct. Oh, the rally in DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I had my speech read out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, look, I got a new Terry Pratchett book today.
Another one?
It's not a new one, but it's a new copy of The Fifth Elephant.
Oh, okay.
He has a these are the UK versions of the hardcovers. Now we're getting to Geek Talk real quick.
Good.
I love Terry Pratchett. Love the Terry Pratchett. Yeah, Costello, good man.
What's Ed doing?
He retweeted. So, man, I got heartburn.
From what?
I hiccuped.
Oh, okay.
I'm an old man, and all it takes is a hiccup now.
What, and you get heartburn?
Yeah. Matt Myers doesn't have a fucking Twitter.
Excuse me?
Matt Myers from Campaign for Tobacco Free Kids does not have a Twitter. Specifically so that I can't tweet at him.
Wow.
Now, I love this piece. It is full of snark, and I love snark.
Snark.
Too bad the UK time difference is so crazy, because we should actually invite this young woman onto our show and
we
praise her for an hour.
Actually, we might be able to for cop in.
Well, I won't be able to because it's 9 o'clock. It'll still be weird hours in the UK.
She's just going to wonder what.
I think there's a 7-hour difference.
Yeah. It looks like a turkey in a suit. We were talking about turkey earlier.
Excuse me.
Now she's going to wonder what the hell's going on.
No. Yeah.
Well,
She's gonna go.
it's probably a good idea, Janine, because over the period of what's happening with like COP9, hopefully we can get her onto one of the shows for even 20 minutes.
I mean, obviously they're doing it 5 days a week.
Yeah.
For 24 hours a day. So I'm sure that
we'll find somewhere.
Who do I know in the UK that's on the list that will be broadcasting?
Richard Bruin's on the
No,
list.
he's gonna be on my show.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Well, okay, well,
I can ask Richard Pruin to be on my show and make him get up at 5 a.m. But a 21-year-old college student, I don't know that they would agree to be interviewed by a bunch of crusty old dudes on the internet.
Um,
But yeah, that shit's awesome. That I was just scrolling, like I had not read that. Clive is in Africa.
Yep.
So I don't know. He is in Kenya.
Yeah, correct.
So I don't know that he would be. Really? Hey, did I see that there was Did I see that there was an E-Valley case in Australia?
Yeah, correct.
Paul?
Yeah. Yep, correct. We've already debunked it, and we've had our names all dragged through the mud because of it. And right at the very end, and the doctor's reports were that, and the actual testing for it, that there was diazepines and cannabis in the blood work. Yep. Homegrown marijuana is allowed. Well, yeah, that makes perfect sense as well.
So, yeah, study finds lung injuries tied to contaminated vapes less common where homegrown. So, Yolanda just had an amazing idea. Or,
What's that?
well, she said Judy.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Get Judy to interview her.
Oh, yeah.
At an appropriate time.
Oh, yeah. And then we broadcast it.
Well, then, no, they can broadcast it anytime. I don't have to be the one.
No, and like, not us, but like for that, that'd be amazing to watch her. Ooh, that would be.
Give me.
That would be.
Can I?
Ooh.
I'm going to reply to my own tweet.
Yeah.
I think we need to get.
Yep, that's who we want to interview this wonderful young woman. Oh, that'd be. Oh, imagine that could be firecrackers and clusterfucks and firecrackers, and I want to hear what comes out of this young woman's mouth. Yep. Oh, hell yeah, Andrew, that's a given. That's a given, mate. You don't need to wait for that to have a drink. I could just imagine. And she even reached out in one of the Twitter groups and said, wow, I didn't think it would go like this across the world. I'm like, well, you said what's been on our mind at a big forum. That would be amazing. Need more wine? Chucky, you keep losing them.
And then finding them months later.
Yeah, behind the couch where you forgot where you put them. When she reads that article, she's just going to go, okay. Yep.
I don't want to put hashtag clusterfuck in there until the young lady
Yeah, that's
gets
what,
into our circle. That might scare her away.
Andrew, that's what we're all waiting for.
We are anxiously awaiting the arrival of the hashtag clusterfuck limited edition vape bans. We are all waiting for that. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, bullshit, Chugger.
Somebody stealing Chugga's wine. You damn Aussies. Leave my Kiwi friend alone.
I'm drinking Smirnoff today, so.
That is not real Smirnoff. That's like a White Claw version of Smirnoff.
No, this is Smirnoff.
It's like Zima.
Smirnoff and Red Bull.
It's like Zima.
Oh, well, anything to keep me awake at the moment.
Well, it's midday over there for you.
Oh, yeah, but it's malt liquor. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Colt 45 works every time.
Yeah, well,
Andrew and I are on the same page. When I was in college, not high school. When I was in college, we used to drink Old English 800 malt liquor, the 8-ball,
yeah,
and a big 40, and drink a 6-pack of that. You're ready to go. Old English 800. I used to have a Schlitz malt liquor bull poster in my bedroom. My dad, the company that my dad owned, or not owned, but worked for, handled all of the shipping for Schlitz all over the South. And when I was in high school, I had a Schlitz malt liquor bull hanging on my wall in my bedroom. I was a bad child.
Sounds like it.
Get it, Bruni. Bruni is retweeting my request for Judy G to conduct an interview with one of her country women. Is that the appropriate word? Country woman? Country? Can't say country men. I mean, obviously the
country person.
Well, I don't, this whole political, I can't, she doesn't list her pronouns.
Okay.
She doesn't list her pronouns, but she's obviously a female. So.
I remember seeing Schlitz here in Australia many, many moons ago. That was
Bartles and James.
That was a pretty bad tasting country person. Yeah, I'm not sure, Janine. How you classify anymore? Political correctness is completely out the window.
Who is definitely an Aussie little tart?
What the fuck?
So Bruni says country woman is very acceptable. Thank you, sir. I will acquiesce to your knowledge as an international man of mystery. Oh, see, now Mallory is tagging me on Twitter pictures of the E Valley girl.
Oh. Well, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
15-year-old Dakota Stevenson.
Yeah, that's her.
Yep. First started vaping with friends after school and never imagined it would have potentially deadly consequences. That's exactly what happened when the Sydney teen ended up in intensive care last September with what doctors believe was E. Valley, a new lung illness emerging among vape users. E-Valley stands for e-cigarette or vaping product use associated lung injury, a lung condition first reported in the United States and only up until this moment ever identified in the United States. At the peak of her condition, Dakota was partially ventilated on full face oxygen in the intensive care unit of the Children's Hospital in Randwick for 3 days, almost drowning because of her fluid-filled lungs. All they have to do is hang you upside down and pat you on the back.
Really?
Her mother, Natasha Stevenson, said whenever Dakota took the mask off, she was visibly struggling for breath so badly doctors initially thought she had COVID-19. She needed a high-flow face mask. Why didn't they just trach her? She couldn't breathe without it. It was horrendous. Dakota had been rushed to the hospital by ambulance just days before back pain. Days before, when back pain and trouble urinating turned into vomiting, rigors, rapid heartbeat, and a temperature as high as 39 degrees. Well, my temperature is always 98.6. She was really struggling to breathe. She got worse and worse, Miss Stevenson said. Within hours, Dakota became hypoxic with not enough air getting into her lungs, and all signs pointed to pneumonia in both lungs. It was then she revealed to her mother that she had been secretly vaping for the past 7 months, up to 3 times a week. Kevin, substitute
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
How long have you been vaping?
2014.
And it's what, 2022, 2021
Yeah.
now? So 7 years.
Yeah.
Are you vaping more than 3 times a day, sir? Or three times a week?
I have this many devices on my table right now.
And have you come down with any mysterious lung related injuries?
No, sir.
Has anyone in this chat room encountered any mysterious lung related injuries if you vape more than 3 times a week? After 7 months?
No.
I'm calling bullshit. I'm not even reading the rest of this BS. This sounds like a child who is making up some sort of excuses for her using illegal, illicit THC cannabis products.
Correct.
And doesn't want her mommy to know about it.
Well, that's what was noted in the
Paulie.
Yes.
I'm going to call you Paul now. Is THC legal in Australia?
Only with a prescription.
Okay. Is it ever legal for a 15-year-old?
No.
Yes, 15.
You would. Okay, so jump through that hoop. Here in Australia, if it was for chronic pain condition, you would have to be signed off.
So if I was
Pretty
15
heavily.
and had severe back pain due to an injury that was irreparable, inoperable, and I was going to have pain for the rest of my life at 15, would I be given a prescription for THC, smoking THC?
No.
In Australia.
It'd be.
So, it would be illegal for a minor to admit that she was smoking pot or vaping pot.
Correct.
In Australia.
Yeah, correct. Yep. And in the medical report that was attached to it, it clearly stated at the bottom that in blood work, in blood panels, that was benzodiazepines and tetrahydrocannabinol, THC.
Really?
And she never.
So
got
I have to
for
ask
that.
Abdul, what is blotting?
Blotting.
BOLOTTING.
Blotting. If I drink, I do get blotting or blotto. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I understand what blotto is.
Yeah, but Bruni, you're 100% right. Under very special conditions and the restrictions on it,
there are THC pills.
Correct. But
in some states that
jump
have
through-
medical marijuana only have. So in Texas, for example, we have medical THC, but it's only as a pill, a capsule. You cannot
correct.
smoke pot in Texas legally unless you're Willie Nelson. Everybody else, if the cop decides to pull you over, which is not really a high priority, it's not legal here. Oh, bloating. Abdul gets
bloating.
bloated if he drinks
Oh.
too much. Well,
Okay.
that is a side effect that some people get for drinking, but we're talking about vaping and specifically pot. And I am not anti-pot. Now, I can't have it because I work in the medical field. So therefore, I'm against anybody having it.
Yeah,
Not
but
really,
again,
I'm just being a jerk,
Chugger,
but-
it'd have to be signed off by, because she's under 16.
But if she did have the prescription, it would
PD
be in her chart, and they wouldn't.
Yeah,
she would
correct.
freely
Right.
admit that she was taking it if she was using it legally.
Yeah, correct. But we're now starting to see the illegal carts appearing here.
Well, this is also the same
in
thing,
quantity.
though. I mean,
quantity.
we found that by and large, the vast majority of cases here in the States were in places where there was no legal cannabis.
Right.
And higher in areas of, illegal cannabis, the higher numbers were also in that younger age category from, 15 to like 24. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Dakota. I don't believe your story. And apparently it has been debunked. But it's like the one that they always tried out here in the States. The kid, gets the headlines that vaping tried to kill me.
Yeah.
And we have the news article where he admitted on video, on camera, that he was vaping pot.
Yep.
And every time we see him being trotted out by PAVE or by Truth or any of these Campaign for Tobacco Free Kids, we're like, look, he's a liar. But we get ignored.
Well,
I wouldn't mind having
this
some
is
Mentos.
and this is the problem right now here, that story was run at the same time as the new bans came into effect in the prescription model. So it was just more. And then you had people on radio. Dr. Mendelsohn actually got asked about that case on radio, not once or twice. Alex Wodak jumped up and said, well, no, you're looking at a very specific section. It was everything's been thrown out here, and it's timed to the point. And the girl that wrote that article, she's been actively blocking anyone from the THR community now here in Australia.
You guys are quite aggressive.
I don't swear at anyone anymore on Twitter. I've stopped that. I've been a good boy, surgically going after some of these muppets.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we've got our old friend Chapman and Swanson and the rest of them all trying to get in on it. But
all right, Paul. You're in charge for like 20 seconds.
Okay, sure. No problems. I must be old. Legitimate weed cart. What do you mean? I've seen a few of them here in Australia now. You can import them under there is a prescription model for you to import weed cartridges as long as it's on prescription. It comes from specific suppliers, mainly out of Canada, and all of the preparations that are sold through the pharmacies here under that section, it's all coming out of Canada as well.
you know, we grow it here, we send it to Canada to be manufactured and then sent back to Australia. It makes no sense at all. And it was part of the argument I said the other day when it comes to vaping. Why can't we manufacture here in Australia? And this gentleman said, well, you can with a specific type license. And I went, well, true, but not true. It has to state on the package for export purposes only.
I had to go get
ice.
ice.
They did. Ice?
Well, I have to make sure my drink is cool. Can't drink a warm drink.
Oh, what have you got tonight?
I'm not telling.
Oh, come on.
It could be a rum product.
Oh, I like rum products.
Could be
Rum baba.
a rum peach tea.
Oh, nice. That'll work.
Could
Yeah,
be.
it's a trick. It's not a trick at all, Chugger.
Well, it's only a trick.
I'll yell and scream at people in the background.
It's only a trick if we don't call them on it, if we don't see the sleight of hand occur. Like I said, I named today's show.
Did he? Yeah, no comment.
Don't do it. I'll say mean things about Sir Didymus.
Too funny.
He's always coming on to me. You know, have you noticed that recently?
He likes you.
I know, right? Yeah. Today's show is Abracadabra, Hocus, Pocus, and Presto, Chango, because we clearly saw FDA doing some sleight of hand and this misdirection by, it was overlooked. We're gonna rescind your MDO. But if you read, and it's not even a hidden implication, they didn't fucking read the PMTA at all. There was no human interaction. There was no human interaction. They did a keyword search and didn't find the keyword that they were looking for. So they assumed that the one thing that they were denying everybody's MDOs for was not in Turning Point Brands PMTA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, I doubt that I know for a fact, pretty much, I'm 99.9% positive that none of the other companies definitely none of the small to medium size e-liquid manufacturers have a randomized clinical control trial comparing their tobacco product to their flavored product. And Turning Point Brands did. Mm-hmm. But their MDO said, you didn't do this, but it was there. So clearly, they didn't look at the PMTAs. Now, there are other lawsuits that are filed under different things, basically saying, I've said this, I don't know if I said it on the show or whatever. The problem is that the judge in the previous lawsuit specifically ordered FDA to be unfair. I mean, let's just call it what it is. He says you have enforcement discretion, but your definition of enforcement discretion is not my definition of enforcement discretion. So therefore, you have to use your enforcement discretion in very limited ways. And that is exactly what FDA did. So they're following the orders of a judge. So the other lawsuits are basically saying that FDA didn't use their enforcement discretion and seemed arbitrary in their denial of these MDOs. Well, none of the other lawsuits are arguing that they included the science that FDA was demanding. And literally, basically, I mean, these other lawsuits are basically saying, well, it's not fair. I don't imagine that any judge is going to agree that not fair is a legal justification for rescinding their PMTA or their MDOs. So I don't know I mean, the other lawsuits, if we can get tons and tons and tons and tons of media attention on big government crushing the little guy, I don't imagine that any of the other cases have a chance in hell. And I don't believe that Bruni says so far there have been 3 corrupt judges on vaping case. I don't do that. I don't believe that. I believe that the judges have fallen prey to all of the same media scare bullshit and indoctrination that everybody else has. Judge Grimm believes fully, and I read first the 45 pages of instructions that he issued, and then I read his full judgment, and everything leads to the fact that he believes that FDA has done a bad job and that the vaping industry have been unprofessional and had enough time, if they had, in his mind, had enough time to do what was necessary to submit their applications. And I mean, if you look at the timeline, if FDA had provided clear guidance from the beginning of what they wanted, there was plenty of time. Fig, who was on the show quite regularly 3-4 years ago, was an e-liquid manufacturer. And I know for a fact that I told him, and I told everybody watching the show then 4 years ago, start your fucking testing now. And nobody did. Nobody did. Well, we don't know what to test for. There are PMTAs. You can look at what those companies did for their tobacco PMTAs and test for those things. And guess what? The list is almost identical to HPHCs that are being tested for in vape products.
Yeah.
So we knew then. Demetrius knew then. We know. We knew. So I'm not saying that vape companies didn't do enough, because a bunch of them did what they could. But yeah, there was a clear indication 4 years ago what these people should be testing for HPHCs. Yes, there was a list 4 years ago. Yes, there was a list. People want to deny it. People want to forget about that it occurred. So yeah, I mean, the judge was right. Hey, you had time. You acted unprofessionally. You tried to buck the system and you lost. That's what the judge said. The judge did not have any sympathy at all for the vaping industry at all. He seemed, and in many ways, he was accurate. There was a lot of unprofessionalism. And yeah. Anywho, I don't want to be I'm not the only guy that's up here saying, you know what, you guys did what you could, but you did it too late. I don't believe any of the judges were corrupt, though. Not like bought off by big tobacco or anything like that. I don't believe that for a minute. I just think that our public image, I'll harp on the fucking PR thing again. We didn't, but there were people that put together a damn fine PR package that would have cost $2 million 2 years ago, and nobody wanted to fucking help pay for it. So,
well, there was a list of various chemicals that they wanted removed. Okay,
we knew that, yeah.
And then there was also a list of what needed to be tested for.
Yes.
But the part that was a little bit sketchy, and parts that I'd read of that document, went to the 30, 45, 90, up to 180 day in ppm testing or parts per million. and a lot of that wasn't included.
No. But I said start your testing.
Yeah.
I said start your testing. I said do what start one flavor. When you've done all your testing for one flavor, then move on to another flavor. That way you have your fucking testing. And that's when Fig trimmed down his offerings and cut out one of my favorite e-liquids. Because I think only he and I were the only people on the whole planet that liked it. The peach creamsicle. I think was the bomb. So I should ask him if he'll give me the recipe now since he's out of business. Not to produce commercially, but just so that I can make it for myself.
Okay. Makes sense. It'll be that I actually tried it a couple of times and yeah, it was good. No two ways.
It was good. It was a coil killer though.
Well,
it was a fucking coil killer. About a day and you had to replace the coil or the cotton, excuse me. I said indoctrinated. That doesn't mean corrupt, Bruni. There's a difference. Brainwashed versus corrupt. That I don't attribute evil to any of the judges. I don't think that they were bought. They probably brainwashed. I'm very confident that is an actual thing, but I don't think corrupt. What was the other thing? I bookmarked it. Let me go to my bookmarks. There it is. Oh yeah. Well, we already talked about that. We already talked about that. Here.
What are we looking at now?
When tobacco is cured, cancer-causing chemicals can form in the leaves. Can form. There are harmful chemicals at every stage of making a cigarette. Bruni.
Okay.
Jack.
Stretching the truth a smidge.
I think I saved this because Jack responded. This is from 2017. Father Jack, he passed away. We already tributed to him, loved him to death.
That was sad.
But yeah, I mean, we've been fighting this. This is 2017.
Yep.
2017.
And I can remember sitting down with, and it was 2017. It was 2017, 2018. I sat down with the flavor house that I was working for at that time, and we went right through everything that they manufactured, and a lot of it got dumped because of the chemicals that were actually in the concentrates, and they all went back and got reformulated. So we know what we were looking for then, but and the cost of testing in the United States is one thing. The testing of these same liquids throughout Europe, because they're actually set up to do it because of TPD compliance.
Yeah.
And a lot of people should have looked overseas, not just looked in their backyard. That was another thing that could have been done a little bit better.
Here we go, Kev. This is one that Bill Tarling sent me. From October 8th. Well, there we go. This is from the Daily Mail. This is an exclusive story. Illegal super strength nicotine vapes disguised as Cadbury chocolates are being sold to children for £5 on TikTok so they can be smuggled past parents.
What the fuck?
Banned vapes are illegally strong and are being sold on youth platform TikTok. Pop-up accounts offering them for £5 in discreet packaging to fool parents. The gadgets are being secreted in Cadbury chocolate boxes to disguise items. Man, Daily Mail, quit it with the fucking block. So let's watch the full video here. Now I have the sound on, don't I? Yeah.
Chocolate packaging. Oh, you're joking. Okay. Well. No comment.
So, Cadbury Heroes.
Well.
Kinder Surprise.
Unbelievable.
Oh.
And notice who they've got in that. Wow. Well.
Oh.
That's a Kinder Surprise from hell.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So here's the thing, guys. Elf bar. What the fuck is an elf bar? Illegally strong.
Yeah, well, let's say with the 20 milligram cap, it's 50 meg.
Oh, is that what it is? Is it nicotine salt? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Benzo.
I got to scroll up here. So, illegal super strength vapes popular with kids are being sold online disguised as Cadbury chocolates to get past worried parents. The high-level smoking Elf Bar and Geek Bar Pro devices, which feature liquid with 2 times the legal strength and 3 the capacity, are being promoted on teenage platform TikTok. And in footage, surely to horrify chocolate giants Cadbury, their packaging is being exploited to sneak the banned gadgets past parents. One video from a now deactivated account shows the caption, "Heroes, anyone?" Then the vapes being packed into the branded confectionery box. The hand is then sprinkling some individually wrapped chocolates over the top to hide the vapes, and the package is being put in an envelope for posting. The disguise means if parents open the delivery, nothing would suggest it was anything other than a sweet treat for their children. So, yeah.
But those bags are also, what is it? X-ray. They're similar to the camera, to the film bags that we used to use.
Yeah.
They don't get detected through X-rays. Easy.
So, yeah. So Chugga says if her kid starts to order chocolate online, she's going to be suspicious. So health charity Action on Smoking Health said it would be reporting all of the pop-up selling accounts to the government's Medicine and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. Deborah Arnott, chief executive of ASH, told Mail Online the promotion of vapes hidden in chocolate packs on TikTok, showing how they can be smuggled to children without their parents realizing is outrageous. Sales of these illegal products have been growing rapidly, and every time one route is closed down, another pops up. We'll be porting this to MHRA and local authority trading standards who are responsible for regulation enforcement. Much stronger enforcement action is needed if we are to stop these products being sold and hit those who sell them hard with the full penalties allowed by law. Previously, they'd been using Kinder eggs to send their products out secretly. But these latest under-the-counter sale uses Cadbury products and is still viewable on TikTok. High doses of nicotine can affect teenagers' brain development, and the products can contain large amounts. I'm not even going to get into that. I mean,
yeah, it's all 5, but yeah, it's all 50 meg.
No, it's just the fact that they're still harping on the fucking nicotine is harmful to developing brains. And we already disproved that repeatedly with science and people that are actual PhDs. and experts on the subject matter on this show. I'm not doing it again. It's ridiculous. But it is kind of proof that kids will do whatever they need to do to experiment with things that they've been told not to use.
But we're all crafty little bastards growing up. And you get told not to do something when you're a kid, you'll test it out.
Oh, yeah. They said I shouldn't do this. So I'm going to fucking do it.
Well,
I mean, really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I love Belgian chocolate too. True. No two ways on that one. But look, you know, packaging it up like that, that's also getting it into countries that have these laws and nicotine caps. That's the other thing. And I'll tell you right now, I don't think they're all going to children somehow.
Well, no, I mean, it could easily be young adults that want 50 milligrams and can't get it because there's a nicotine cap in their country. Do you believe, Kevin, or not? Yeah. Do you believe, Substitute Kevin, that if a nicotine cap is emplaced in Australia, that Aussies aren't going to try to figure out a way to get that 50 milligram salt nic that they've been using and that they're happy with?
And again, that's another argument now that I did work with a salt nic that was 200 milligram. Now I can't use that, and it wasn't a benzenate derivative. It was completely different. And now I've completely switched to synthetic. So there you go. That's what I've had to do. But we'll see how much further they're going to go here in Australia. We don't know if they're going to try and bring in the same laws as the United States with like freight and USPS and FedEx and everything. But that's another question for everyone. Is that only the United States with shipping bans? Because I'm still getting stuff through DHL.
Well, I'm still getting stuff through USPS.
It makes no sense.
So there is no shipping ban in the United States yet. I don't know if they're going. I mean, I'm still ordering online and still getting stuff. Not signing for it from vendors.
Yeah.
Five Ponds actually is following the rules, and somebody had to sign for it.
Yep.
But it wasn't a ban.
No.
So
well,
I
don't have a problem.
Hardware. I ordered hardware from Greece, and it arrived DHL.
Yep.
And they didn't make me sign for it because they have my signature on file, and they just threw it on my front porch and ran away.
Yeah.
I live in not a remote area, but far enough away from the DHL hub. It's a 2.5 hour drive from the DHL hub. And I don't imagine there's a whole lot of DHL deliveries down here. But the guy shows up. He calls me when he's leaving San Antonio, or he texts me when he's leaving San Antonio. And they have my signature on file, and I get video on my Ring doorbell when he shows up, and he doesn't spend more than 3 seconds at my doorway. I mean, pew!
Well, okay, Bruni's got a point here that all of us, where's my wallet? All of us have like a debit card that has a Visa logo on it, right? So you can tap and go at most facilities. Now, forgive me, why are under 18s allowed to have that Visa logo on their card, or under 21 for that matter in the US? That's another question to stop this. No, well, if you can order something with a debit
12-year-old
card, right,
kids like children have Visa cards here.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Why isn't there an age restricted like visa or I don't know.
Because parents, at least parents here, I don't know if parents in other countries, but here, parents add their kids to their fucking accounts.
Yep.
And give them a fucking debit card, and it's set up in a way that they can actually monitor their kids' purchases, but their kids can use the card.
Yeah, okay, point taken. But
and you know, dude, this is the grumpy old man segment of the show. I don't understand. You know, we see people complaining all the time about how their fucking kids are spending more time on their damn cell phones than interacting with other people. Well, who bought that fucking kid the $1,200 iPhone to begin with?
yeah,
I'm sorry, if I had a kid, they would have a fucking flip phone, and it would only be allowed to send and receive phone calls to mommy and daddy.
okay. Yeah, that's a fair point.
No, credit cards, kids can't open a credit account until they're 18, but they can have a debit card, and all debit cards are either Visa or MasterCard. And that just means that you can run purchases through that card on the network with Visa or MasterCard or both. But yeah, all debit cards here have a Visa or MasterCard logo on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mark, you're right. I see where you're coming from. It's tailored. It's very well tailored. And now the truth is finally coming to light, and where this money is being used and who, especially who, is, you know, messing around with the narrative. And this goes back to the FCTC. That was never been meant to be weaponized. But it is. It's being turned against us now. And having closed door conversations is absolutely stupid. If you want proper legislation and control, you've got to bring in the industry players or the industry, like at least a representative from industry to try and get their point across as well. I agree.
So this one's for Mark. So something good, Cliff Douglas, and you know, obviously Cliff Douglas tweeted about, you know, Michigan and about the flavor ban, yay. But it looks like a couple Michigan State University kids have decided to help develop a product to help people quit vaping.
Oh, okay.
Michigan State students who are struggling to quit vaping might be in luck. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, electronic cigarettes or e-cigarettes are also known as vaping devices or vapes, are battery-operated devices that people use to inhale an aerosol, which typically contains nicotine, though not always, flavorings and other chemicals. Supply Management Senior at Capnos, co-founder and CEO Brandon Wang, struggling with a vape addiction for 5 years. Seriously, I know people that vape to get off of smoking, that vape for a month or 2 or 3 months and put the vape down and walk away and never smoke another fucking cigarette. So this guy is struggling to quit vaping. He's been struggling for 5 whole years. He began vaping his freshman year in high school. Wang was simply bandwagoning on an activity that all his surrounding peers participated in. It wasn't until his freshman year in college that he began to consider it an actual addiction. It's just something that I did and didn't really think too much about, Wang said. I didn't really have any intentions of stopping. But then when I became more conscious about it, I was like, am I able to stop? By committing himself to better understanding his habit cycles and through research into behavioral psychology, Wang developed the idea for Capnos Zero. Capnos Zero is a smokeless, chargeless, and nicotine-free pressurized air inhaler designed to function as a behavioral aid. Every inhale feels like hitting a vape, yet it's only hits of flavored air. Wang surveyed thousands of people who vape and discovered 2 out of 3 electronic e-cigarette users suffer from behavioral addictions rather than nicotine addictions. I don't disagree with that. The hand to mouth,
Yeah.
the inhale, the chest or throat hit are all important. That's why I have anyway. We vape so often and develop a nicotine tolerance, so we're no longer achieving that sense of satisfaction from each hit. At that point, it has evolved into an oral fixation or behavioral addiction, where the addiction lies in the desire just to hit something. There are times that I really do want to hit something. There are products that address nicotine addiction, such as patches and even nicotine-free vapes, yet few products have been created to eliminate the smoke, combustion, and nicotine, essentially all the negative consequences or all the negative health consequences. So where did he say, okay, so yes, smoke and combustion definitely are a health risk, and they should be eliminated. Nicotine does not have a negative health consequence.
Yeah.
So Capnos is a mission-based company, strives to prevent lung disease and save lives above all else. When Capnos was first in the works in late 2019, news of a sudden blah, 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 blah. So this is I'm assuming some sort of compressed air. He said it adds a puff. It is.
Hang on.
It is not battery powered.
Yeah, but he also said that there was a flavor in it.
Well, yeah.
Unbelievable.
So, but Oma's got it. Omicidal's got it.
Yeah.
But hang on, flavors are bad. It can only come in tobacco or menthol.
Yep.
And let's be honest, boys and girls. The most harmful part of vaping is the flavorings. And that's not saying that they're, mega harmful, but we know PG and VG are literally harmless.
Yep.
Nicotine is a mild stimulant.
Yep.
That would mean the flavorings, any harm would be in those. And that's going to be varied based on the chemistry of each flavor, what's in there. And obviously, it's still orders of magnitude safer than combustible cigarettes, but there is still some harm there.
And that I've been working very, very diligently on specific flavors right now to make sure they're clean.
Yes.
But
that doesn't mean that Capella and I'm not calling any specific flavoring out at all. I'm just saying there is inherently, even if it's a tiny, 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 tiny fraction of harm. Yes, there is some sort of negative impact. That 5%, that 95% safer, there's still 5% harm.
Yeah.
It is only, there's a small minor amount of harm in the stimulant part of the nicotine, but only to people that have serious heart problems or anything like that. So any of that 5%, the vast majority of that 5% harm is in the flavoring. It's still tiny, but it is there. And we have to be honest.
I agree.
We have to be honest.
I agree, 100%.
If we're preaching the 95% harm, that 5% harm is not in the PG, it's not in the VG, and a very tiny, 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 tiny fraction is in the nicotine, and then the other tiny, tiny, tiny harm is in the flavors.
No, I won't be going down the Glade plug-in realm. More chemicals in that than you could poke a stick at. Menthol addiction, but now menthol's been overtaken by cooling agents.
Well, there are still some people that menthol is flavored.
Yeah, correct.
The cooling agents are flavorless, and
correct.
Bruni says that his brother exempt because he vapes zero. flavor. Like he is unflavored. And I know other people that vape unflavored
Yep.
e-liquid with like 12 milligram or whatever. And even unflavored, depending on what the PG and VG ratio is, it's still sweet. Like you can still, there is a,
Well,
there is a
VG's
sweetness to
VG's
the
inherent.
VG.
Yeah.
So, you know, but
VG's,
you know, there were companies that submitted PMTAs for unflavored that got MDO'd.
Yep.
So, you know, if you just did unflavored with like 3%, well, I don't even know 3%. Like less than 1% WS23. WS23, depending on who is the one that is diluting it. I've gotten some WS23 that if I only put like 0.3%, it's still pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah, well, that's 30% by volume.
So
probably. Oh, I do suspension of 10, 15, 20, 30, even 50% dilution.
But I've seen Demetrius put the same WS23 at like 5% in his DIY flavor. And I'm just like, dude, that would freeze. That would freeze my chest. But that's what he loves. He loves the cool.
Yeah. So do I. Look, I've got liquids that I vape that are icy cold, and they only come out in summer.
Well,
like when it's hot. When it's
that
hot
would
outside.
be refreshing.
Well, it is.
That would be refreshing.
But yeah, that's about the size of it.
A Tic Tac? Yeah, that is about the size of it.
Oh, God, here we go.
Boy, I miss Kevin. I did send him the link. He said that he was keeping the kid and he didn't know if he would make it or not. So I sent him the link and I said, if we're still live when you're done, you can pop in. But yeah, I mean, I would pick my grandchild if I had a grandchild over you guys too, for a night at least. His little Logan is hilarious. So yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Set people's teeth off in what way? Yeah, I agree.
I'm really waiting for Andrew to provide us with like actual prototypes of the #clusterfuck vape band.
Yep.
Just saying, we should see a production model. They don't prototype stuff; they just make the final product and send it out. Yep. What if we want a color change? Just saying. I was never a huge menthol smoker, but there used to be a company called Liberty Vapors in Philadelphia, and they made a frozen apple that when I had a cold, like I had a couple bottles of it here in the cabinet, if I got congested or something like that, I would tank that up and that shit would clear me up real fast. So I got a faster clusterfuck. What is it? A faster fuster cluck.
Yeah.
Faster fuster cluck. I mean, I'll make a t-shirt, but I need to know what that is. What is a faster fuster cluck?
No idea.
I don't know, but Chugga wants it. Has Chugga broken into the wine already?
Probably.
It's possible. She could have already lost a bottle of wine or two by now.
It's down the side of the couch. How faster? Oh, okay. So spell check.
She just wants a fuster cluck.
Yep.
Because apparently clusterfuck would be bad. I would walk around wearing a clusterfuck t-shirt.
Get out a Sharpie. Okay.
In an old t-shirt in the meantime.
Yep. Kiwi for clusterfuck is fustercluck.
Fustercluck.
Yeah.
All right.
It's Kiwi. It's Kiwi for clusterfuck.
No, I just think they can't spell. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, good.
Well, I got to pick on somebody other than you, Paul. I can't just pick on you.
Yeah, I know. They pick on everyone.
I will not pick on young Alice if we can get her into an interview.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Probably a good thing.
Well, that would be rude to invite somebody on the show and then just embarrass them. I'm not rude to new people.
I know.
Well.
Depends.
Well, I'm hoping that Judy sees that tweet. Now, the last time I tagged her in a tweet, she didn't respond for like 7 days. So, nobody saved you. Oh, Mowgli says that he says, I smoke cool straights, non-filtered in 9th grade, and nobody saved him. Well, somebody did, because your name is Mowgli Vapes. It's not Mowgli Smokes.
Yeah.
So apparently somebody did.
Oh dear.
Well, why did you? I mean, it could say that. It could still say it this small, though, Andrew. I mean, that's all the bigger it would need to. Really, I'm just saying. Now, I didn't mean for you to torture poor Bernie, though, Mark's list. That was not the point of me saying new people. But yeah, hey, we've been on 3.5 hours, Kevin.
I know.
Well, and I didn't really have anything to say. That's one of the reasons why I made you come in.
Oh, it's all good.
So, Paul, what do you want people to think about for the next 7 days?
Just keep watching what's going on around the world. I think there's a few big changes about to happen. Now that we've got a little bit of light with some of the PMTAs, that's a good thing. Here in Australia, we now have to fight even harder to overturn this clusterfuck of a prescription model and petition the TGA to overturn it and to try and have our voices heard by both the AMA and by the RACGPs. Our doctors, we don't need to load them up with more work. You know, we've been doing a good job up until now, or for the most part. But yeah, please. And if you can speak to any of your representatives here in Australia or in the United States, speak to them and just explain your case. Put it forward, but don't be an ass about it. Be nice about it. And
are you telling people to be nice to each other on Twitter?
Sometimes.
Who are you?
I don't know. I've changed.
Did you turn over a new leaf?
I sort of had to in the last couple of weeks. My life's changed dramatically. Let's put it that way.
He's going through the change of life.
No,
There's Jeffrey Zamora. He shows up after
is.
we talk about Costa Rica. Really? Jeffrey, we talked about Costa Rica just now. Well, not just now, but like an hour ago. So yes, Jeffrey is correct. COP9 is coming. And yes, we are going to be efforting massive amounts of stuff during the COP9. We are joining up with CAFRA. We will be doing. Well, I know you didn't hear it because you ran away. Anyway, we will be doing on our end 9:00 p.m. time, East Coast in the United States. We have blocked out 1 hour every night of the 5-night program that CAFRA is putting together. They're calling it Scope. It will run at the same time as the COP9, and you guys need to join or follow or like the CAFRA YouTube and also the CAFRA Facebook, so that you can watch the broadcasts. They will be broadcasting 5 days at 24 hours a day, 24/7 or 24/5 at least. And they will have advocates from all over the world broadcasting during the entire thing. Now, based on the time of day, if you tune in, it could be nighttime in Malaysia, and they will have, possibly Malaysian people speaking. It will be 24/5. Yes, Jeffrey Zamora. And not all of them will be English. No. But every one of the blocks are 1 hour long. So if you tune in and they're speaking, and I was told that some of them actually will be subtitled. What is CAFRA? Sean Casey, you should be ashamed of yourself. CAFRA is CAPHRA, and that is the Asia Pacific Consumer Advocacy Group, CAFRA.org. I will show you their Twitter, CAFRA, the Coalition of Asia Pacific Tobacco Harm Reduction Advocates. Now, the thing about CAFRA is it says Asia Pacific on there, but if we go to their website and you look at their member organizations, they are not all Asia Pacific. They do have, obviously, a good footprint, Asia Pacific. Hey, this is Lindsay Stroud and Nancy Lucas. We've had both of these young ladies on this broadcast, not tonight, but in the past. So I'm trying to see if there's a list of their members. I'm sure there's a list of their members somewhere. They have a Twitter, and I'm still trying to get them to add Twitter to their thing. But let's see who we are. So the people of CAFRA, there's the Philippines, there's Australia, Malaysia, Thailand.
There's more.
Well, I know, but that's all. I know there's more because they have all the way over to India. They have China, Hong Kong, Philippines. Japan, one of the Koreas, North or South Korea. They have all the way over to Turkey and Pakistan, and I think Afghanistan. I think I followed an Afghanistan Afghani Vapors Alliance or something like that last week or 2 weeks ago. So it's a very large international group. They're partnering with INCO as well. So INCO, which is the international, like worldwide consumer advocacy vaping organization. So I know I spoke to Charles, and Charles is they're working on also taking some time, and Kasa will probably be working with INCO. I did reach out to them as well and offered my assistance, but they have StreamYard and they know how to use it, but we are not. We are and are not using StreamYard. So anyway, the broadcast will be on. They are an international consumer consortium. Yes, they're all consumers. So, Sean, even though you are a manufacturer, you use these products and purchase these products, so you're a consumer too. So, CAFRA is, yes, the Coalition of Asia Pacific Tobacco Harm Reduction Advocates, but it's mostly a consumer organization. Coalition, I should say. And each country has their own org, and CAFRA is the coalition of all of the national orgs in that side of the world. So
It's growing bigger and bigger now. There's a lot more people getting on board. Different chapters.
Well, I mean, Costa Rica is doing something because Jeffrey. Well, I think they're doing something through Inco, but yes.
Well, I know
their tobacco harm reduction.
I know that Samrat and Jaggy and 100% consumers. Hanaj, H has just said that, but Jaggy and Samrat. There's Indian groups in there now. There's
I said
just about every country has been. There's different things happening for COP9. I just wish we could have a fly on the wall.
Well,
that'd be fun.
Yeah. Yes. My show, my hour, I've already blocked out. They've already given me an hour every night for the 5 nights at 9 p.m. East Coast U.S. time. So it will be the same time that we normally do this show. But
broken up into 5-hour slots,
5 1-hour slots, and then obviously the normal Friday night show. So there's no excuse. I mean, you don't have to watch every night, but the first night, and I said this at the beginning of the show, but I'm putting together a harm reduction for dummies or harm reduction for idiots or whatever you want to call it, using my tweet thread from months ago, the A to Z of harm reduction. If you guys can think of harm reduction examples or stories that you are willing to let me share during that show, just at me on Twitter, just tweet it out and tag me in it. When will this start? This is next month. Give me a second. I just closed that window. Give me 1 second, Shannon Brown. They have it right on the CAFRA news page. Come on. Yes, the Scope live stream is November 8th through the 12th. Now that will be actually not November 8th through the 12th. It will be November 7th through the 11th because we're a day different. Right? Right.
Correct.
So our show, which is Monday over there, will be Sunday night here because they're in the future. So Sunday night at 9 on the 7th of November is when we will do our first hour block. And then obviously I've provided them like close to 3 hours of pre-recorded clips that they're going to run throughout the stream. They're just going to, I'm hoping other people provided clips and that they don't just have mine.
Oh, there's heaps.
So
heaps.
I'm hoping, but mine are cool because I produced them. Because I'm better than everybody. Boy, I have an ego. But anyway, we love you. Y'all go and find your kids if you got kids and tuck them in the bed and give them a hug on the head and go find your wife and squeeze her butt and have a good night and enjoy your weekend. Do the football thing or the barbecue thing or the family thing. And just remember that we're in this to save people's lives. We're in this to save an industry that sometimes feels like they don't give a damn, but they have to be here to help smokers not die. And even though there are times I saw somebody post a while ago that 98% of the industry is letting 2% of the industry do the fighting, it doesn't matter. They have 30 hours of pre-recorded materials, what he said.
Whoa.
I mean, I could give him, we could easily do that here. We just give him all of our old shows. We have like several hundred hours of shows, but I didn't want to do that. But, and I'm sure they didn't want to do that. We are here to save people's lives. And if that means we have to save a couple assholes' businesses to do it, we'll do it. because ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they're assholes. If they make a good product that saves people's lives, it deserves to be around. So y'all be good. Yep. We'll see you in 7 days. Tomorrow, I'm going to be setting up a new broadcast location here in the office. I got my standing desk. It'll be here tomorrow. So I won't have to sit on my fat ass all the time. I'll be able to stand up and broadcast if I feel like it. And if I get tired, then I can just sit down. They're adjacent to each other. So y'all be good, and we'll see you in 7 days. Bye.
Hello, let me just say I don't like either of you.
Well, that's understandable.